Last season, the Pontiac Central Chiefs played in the Michigan High School Athletic Association playoffs. They advanced to the semifinals in Class A against South Lyon. This is our first look at the 1996 Chiefs on Comcast this season. Let's send it down to the field to Roy Akers for his pregame report on tonight's ball game.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. As we're down here just moments before the start of our football game tonight, the storyline tonight, the first time ever in school history that the Waterford Kettering captains have matched up against the Pontiac Central Chiefs. That's one of the reasons why we're here this evening. The Pontiac Central Chiefs, unlike last year's state playoff team, while they have a lot of their underclassmen that have returned, most of them are linemen. Most of their experienced players aren't their marquee guys. Guys like Dante Robertson and so forth that went on to college last year. Pontiac Central is extremely banged up here tonight, and they are led by the broken-legged Gerald Rasul, the state 100-meter champ, who will not play tonight nor any game for the rest of the season following his mishap against Troy Athens last week. How banged up is Pontiac Central? Well, Pontiac Central will have 8 two-way players playing for them tonight, and this does not include how many of these guys are also going to play on the kicking and the special teams and so forth here this evening. The key for the Chiefs here tonight is how well that they can move either their pro set or their 3 running back, 1 receiver, 1 tight end slot position here tonight. Pontiac Central is going to line up London. They're also going to have Aziz, and they're also going to have Franklin out there tonight behind quarterback Marquise Stevens. But Pontiac Central, once again, has 8 two-way players, and that's going to be crucial as both the captains and the Chiefs are very tough defensively. The Chiefs this year have 3 players amongst the top 15 in tackles in Oakland County, but 2 of them aren't going to play tonight because of injuries. For the Waterford Kettering captains, the captains haven't had the same kind of season that they've had in years past. Defensively, they're not quite as strong as their defense seems to be out on the field most of the ball game because their offense can't move the football. Their quarterback, Tim Morris, is one of the top passers in Oakland County according to passing yardage, but he's passed for 12 interceptions in 6 games, including basically the Statue of Liberty interceptions where the ball was swiped from his hands. If captains are going to move the football tonight, they're going to have to mix the run with the pass, and one of the keys tonight for the captains is they've got to spring Nick Reeser. This big tight end can catch the football, but the captains don't look for him a whole lot. The captains defensively, Ryan Jerwa, he has been superb so far this year, one of the leading tacklers in Oakland County in tackles, and it comes from the free safety slot, which tells you all you need to know. Yes, we are in the line of fire. We've had the footballs come screaming at us the last few minutes. So once again, the keys tonight, the Chiefs, are they going to be able to overcome their injuries with all their two-way players? Are they going to get tired during the game? And for the captains, are they going to be able to take advantage of it? The captains will. It could be their ball game. If they don't, it looks like the Chiefs have a pretty good shot at a victory tonight. That's what we're here, and that's what we're going to broadcast. Back to you in the booth here, Bob.
Dolly's Pizza, we know what you like. Dolly's Pizza. Go to Michigan's Best Pizza by the Michigan Restaurant Association. Call and order one of Dolly's 7 delicious specialty pizzas, like the Mesquite Grilled Chicken Parmesan Pizza. Get a large round or square pizza for just $9.99. Check your mail for more Dolly's Pizza specials. At Dolly's Pizza, we know what you like. At Dolly's Pizza, we know what you like.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Comcast TV 45 Sports. I'm Bob Montgomery, along with Roy Akers in the broadcast booth, and tonight we bring you an Oakland Activities Association Division II matchup. The Waterford Kettering captains, 1-3, Roy, take on the Pontiac Central Chiefs, 2-1. And I guess for the Pontiac Central team here, they've kind of got destiny in their own hands in these final 3 ball games here, entering week 7. Outside chance, but probably a real thin chance of making the state playoffs as they did last year in an impressive fashion, making it all the way to the state semifinals against South Lyon.
Yeah, the Chiefs, they have returned a lot of the players, as we talked about in our pregame show. They return a lot of the players from that team, but 2 of their big players, Daryl Dixon's playing at Central State in Ohio, and Dante Robertson's got Robert Stack out looking for him for a future edition of Unsolved Mysteries. Nobody knows what happened to this kid. Some say he's playing college. Some say he's not doing anything these days. But the Chiefs lost those 2 guys, but they return a lot of very key underclassmen. Jalelu Mayo's here, Jermaine London, Marquise Stevens. They also got 2-way players. People have had a big impact like Flores and Taylor. But the Chiefs are missing Gerald Rasul, the defending state 100-meter champ, and he broke his leg.
Yeah, and that takes some key team speed away from this team. And the game that we did last week, Roy, Pontiac Northern coach at Bruce McNorton was worried about Central's team speed when they're going to have to face off here in 3 weeks. So
yeah, they still do have the great team speed, but unfortunately for Pontiac Central, they're missing a lot of big players, guys that they're just not going to be able to replace. As they have a 30-man roster, it's now down to 22 players coming into tonight's game. Quinn with a kickoff for the Captains. He'll kick back from the north end zone to the left as London will bring it up, and London's going to get out over the 20, breaks a tackle, drags some Captains with him, and gets out over the 30-yard line. We're actually out to about the 33.
A tackle in there by Brian Rush and Josh Liuzu for the Captains there, Roy.
Let's take a look here at the Chiefs offense. The quarterback, Marquis Stevens. The running backs are going to be Nick Franklin, Jermaine London, and Bashan Aziz, who will play out there. Jalilo Mayo and will be one of the wideouts. Aziz will go between the third running back slot and also the flanker spot here for Pontiac Central. Flores is the tight end. We'll check the line here for you in a moment. Right now for the Chiefs, they're going to have Mayo split out to the near side, and here on the counter wraparound is going to be London, who's going to pick up a yard or two before he's brought down by Dyer, and also Jarris, as Jarris, once again, one of the leading tacklers in Oakland County, in there on the stop after a gain of 2. Central has the ball. We're in our opening 30 seconds of play. It's nice to have some nice lighting out here at Wisner Stadium. As you can see the whole field out here pretty well with the painted field markers. It's a pretty good little setup. We have a timeout here on the field, as it looks like the officials have thrown a flag. I can't imagine it's too much time, but that might be our call here. They're going to move the Chiefs back 5 yards.
Yes, they will.
They lined them up. Oh, they were offsides, and the Chiefs have already been called for the first penalty for 5 yards tonight. Real quick, here's their lineup. At right tackle is Kenny Taylor. At right guard is Antoine Rouser. The center is Scott Stark. The left guard is Chris Summers. The left tackle is Brandon Matthews. And now the Captains with a 5-man front. Here comes the running play out to London. Here run around one guy, spin around another, and is out close to first down yardage as he falls at the 40 or 41. A gain of 7 or 8. Boy, what a play as he made something out of nothing, Bob.
Well, that's actually more of a pickup there, Roy. That was second down and 14, makes it up 3rd and 1 here.
Yeah.
So it's a 13-yard pickup there for London. And you just see some of his balance there, Roy, coming through there, cutting across the field.
Yeah, that was a good observation. That's right. It was a 3rd down, and he picked up 12, and it's now 3rd down and a long 1. The Chiefs had that powerhouse backfield with the lone wideout being Mayo. Stevens has got blockers in front of him. He's on the naked bootleg. The Captains are going to rush him in and knock him down at the own 40. That time he's tackled in front of Irv Speaks, Mountain, and also Danny Rose will make the stop for the Captains. No gain for Pontiac Central, and they are in a punting situation. This is 4th down and about 2.
Well, that time, Dan Rose defensively strung out that play over here to the near side of the field, Roy, and came across. Stevens couldn't cut it upfield.
And the punter will be Marquis Stevens, as Stevens will be standing back on his own 27-yard line. The deep player back for Pontiac, or make that for Waterford Kettering, is Adam Mountain, who's standing on his own 28-yard line. The punt is off. Chiefs will have a line driver that will take a PC roll. Mountain will field it on his own 31, scampers around end and runs out of room at the 36 as he's hammered by a couple of guys, including Flores and Jamie in London. Well, we've played 2.5 minutes of this first quarter. The Chiefs showed a little bit of promise on that one running play by London, but Pontiac Central, they ran out of gas as the Captains strung them out. Good defensive work by the Captains here on the road here at the Wisner. Not a lot of fans here tonight. I don't even know if the Chiefs have brought out 100 people here, and that might be we might be being kind here. We're going to get you the Captain's offense here in a moment. Their running backs are Rose and Barth, and here comes the running play. It's going to go to the outside, as it's going to be by Justin Newingham on a little wide receiver type play, as we have a late flag on the field. That time looked like Newingham took the wide pitch that time and picks up about 4 yards before he's run out of bounds.
I didn't actually see it. Did Newingham there, Roy, cut across, or did he line up in the backfield this time?
You know what? I'm not sure. I don't know if we have that on a replay. I was trying to capture it because it was kind of an off-gap type play. It was a new alignment by the Captains. I'm not sure.
They brought Newingham into the backfield for the first time this year.
That we've seen here on Comcast, that's for sure. It is a face masking call, and we give the Captains a first down.
That's exactly Justin Newingham at the running back position here, Roy.
He sure has it. That's a 15-yard penalty. That's the first down of the ball game for the Captains. It comes the penalty route as WK has the ball on the Pontiac Central 43. The Captains are going to line up in the backfield. They're going to have their standard players, Rose and Barth. Newingham and Mountain are split out to the far side. The tight end is Reeser. And here comes the handoff now to Barth. Barth around the 30. He's got a couple of players to beat, but he strung along and tackled out of bounds. As that time, Bashir Aziz will make the stop. The Captains have a huge first down to about the 15-yard line. It's a 27-yard pickup. Second first down for the Captains on this drive. WK will have the ball here out of the near hash mark.
Well, look at this great run here. It started back at the 48 and takes it all the way, piles it down to about the 16-yard line here, Roy.
And Morris is up over center. Mountain and Newingham are to the near side, and the Captains flinch. That will push WK back 5 yards. Not a whole lot of disputing that one. The Chiefs have been penalized twice already in this ball game for 20 yards as the Captains are on the march on their initial offensive output here of the evening. Beautiful week overall for weather here this week of September the 15th, but today turned pretty nasty outside, and that might have kept some of our fans home. Split out to the near side will be Newingham. Over to the far might be Adam Mountain. And here on the play action, it's on a draw, and the pass is overthrown. At the time, Dan Barth couldn't get his mitts on it, and Timmy Morris, his first pass attempt, will go for naught.
Well, Tim Morris coming into this ball game, Roy, he has 748 yards passing, 61 of 126, 4 touchdown passes. But his big stats so far this year, Roy, 12 interceptions, leads Oakland County in interceptions. And he's just got to, pick up his receivers.
Yeah, there's nobody else even close to him, and that's been a problem for the Captains here this season. Mountain split out to the near side on the play action. Morris is going back. He's looking for the end zone for Mountain. Delivers a throw to Reeser, who holds it in for the touchdown. Oh, he busted free from 2 players that time. Looked like Mayo was down there with Marquis Stevens, and neither guy can handle him. What have I been telling you all season?
What did you talk about in the pregame, Roy? You said Nick Reeser had to step up. He had to have a big game. The tight end, Nick Reeser, has a good set of hands on this kid, Roy. And I think that if Tim Morris uses him as maybe his primary target out here, the Captains can pick up good things.
Yeah, anytime a team can throw to the tight end, it gives them a big advantage over the other squad because that's one less player they can bring up to the line of scrimmage. The ball takes a skip, though. Morris is back to pass, delivers it for the end zone, and he throws it through the uprights incomplete. The Captains lead at 6-0. We're going to have this play for you on instant replay. I don't know if it'll be now or when we come back from our break. We have it. Now let's take a look at it. Let's look at the scrambling effort here by Morris.
This was a great setup here. Roy goes back. He sets up in the pocket. The pocket collapses, but he still has composure to find Nick Reeser cutting across.
Yeah. He had 2 players that were streaming underneath on that play, both Danny Rose, but I think his initial target on that play might have been Adam Mountain, who was actually covered pretty solidly, and that shows some good poise by the quarterback Morris, who's able to look off him, and that's what happened right there. Well, just to let the truck know, we're going to keep it up right here as the Captains have a 6-0 lead, 2:59 into this ball game, and are you kind of surprised at what's going on?
I am, because I think speed-wise, the Waterford Kettering Captains so far on their run plays have been able to break outside, Roy, and negate some of the Pontiac Central rush so far, and they're just outplaying them so far right here.
And now the Captains will kick it deep. Back is Mayo at his own 2-yard line. He's got a lot of speed room up the middle to the 20 and runs into the first wall. And bringing him down will be the Captains' number 50, David Rushman, who will get the tackle, as the Chiefs will have their second offensive possession with 8:50 to go here in the opening stanza. Big surprise. What fueled this drive initially was the Captains had a big face masking penalty after a decent run, and from there, they had a 27-yard run by Barth, and then they also had a 24-yard touchdown strike Reeser from Timmy Morris, and our game scores.
Well, and really, the captains so far, they didn't put themselves in 3rd and long situations, something that's hurt them a lot this year.
Chiefs are back in a pro set. Stevens is back. He's going to try to have it on the keeper. He's got around one man at the 30. He's got first down yardage. One man to beat. He's tripped up, but he's tackled from behind by Jarwa after a huge gain of 35 yards. Boy, I'll tell you, I want to call this guy Jarwa all the time.
It's
Jarris. Boy, is this kid super. If it wasn't for him, we'd be tied.
Well, there you see some of the team speed that time, though, by the Pontiac Central Chiefs and Stevens. Stevens last year played wide receiver out here for the Chiefs, Roy, last year.
He did play quarterback, too, though.
Yeah, a little bit at the quarterback position.
When Dante wasn't. It will be officially a 36-yard gain for Stevens as the Chiefs will have the ball at the WATERFORD Kettering 39-yard line. Here on the counter tray, it's going to be a handoff to London. London's got room at the 30. Inside down to close to the 25, and another Chiefs first down. As that time, look at him scramble right, then cut back across the grain as he gets 11 yards, move the chains. Second first down, 25 yards and 4 carries for Jermaine London so far here this evening.
Well, now you can see here, Roy, some of the big strike capability that the Pontiac Central Chiefs possess out here.
They'll have the ball at the far hash marks. The Chiefs are in their home blacks. The captains are in their road silver. I guess you call it kind of like a silverish color and white. The Chiefs will have the ball with the powerhouse backfield. Here comes a handoff to London, the third running back through. This time that play developed very late, but London was still able to get some decent yardage. He got about 2, maybe 3, as he ran behind his Chris Summers and Brendan Matthews, and that'll make it second down and about 8 yards. In the backfield with him is Franklin and Stevens. Here are the captains. Here's their defense here in this ball game. The 5 linemen are going to be Liuzu, Dwyer, actually 4 linemen, Liuzu, Dwyer, McGugan, and Rose. The linebackers are Walker, Zapata, Rushman, and Morris. The corners are Mountain and Barth. Free safety is Jarris. First time I'll get your name right here tonight. Here on the short drop is going to be Stevens over the middle, but the ball almost picked. Adam Mountain, boy, I'll tell you, his eyes got pretty big. He was also back there with the captains, J.R. Zapata, who came out of the linebacker slot, and they broke that pass up. That ball hung up there too long, Bob.
Yeah, that was just a little floater, and if you're going to go over the middle, Roy, you can't float the ball. And that time he tried to float it over the linebackers, and Adam Mountain, the last broadcast that we had there, Roy, he was had a couple almost near picks in that ball game.
And that'll now make it third down and 10. They did not give a whole lot of running room there to London on that last rush before this. And the ball is fumbled. London, I think, will fall back on his own fumble as he never got the ball cleanly. And the Chiefs are going to have it fourth down and 12. That ball was fumbled. There was no opportunity to advance it. And the Chiefs drive, well, Chiefs don't really have a kicking game. They didn't have one last year, and probably will not.
Well, the ball down right on the 30-yard line, obviously too long for the field goal attempt. They'll just probably go for it here, Roy.
They sure will on fourth down and 12. The split out here to the near side is going to be Bashir Aziz. Jalilo Mayo will be to the far, is back in the shotgun as a quarterback. Stevens gets the ball cleanly. Up over the middle on a floater. The ball is tipped, almost picked off by the captain's Dave Rushman. That time the ball was intended for Justin Howard underneath, and Howard couldn't handle it. And once again, it didn't really matter on that play, Bob, but if that ball would have been picked, I guess it would have been a Chiefs advantage here this evening because of field position. But once again, Stevens is going to have to zip that ball in there. And now the captains will have the football, first and 10 here at their own 29-yard line. Actually, it's at the 30. Newingham to the near side. Actually, he's over to the far with Mountain. Tight end is once again Reeser, who caught the touchdown pass. We played almost one half of the first quarter. On the handoff, it's going to go straight up the gut for Danny Rose, who will pick up a yard or two. He runs into the Chiefs interior. Is in on the stop for them will be Malcolm Draper, and it's a 2-yard gain. 2 carries, 7 yards for Dan Rose tonight. Dan Barth, the other of the D&D boys, had a 1 carry for 27 yards this evening. Our game score, Captains 6, the Chiefs nothing. We have 5:33 to go here in the quarter, and our clock is running. A 5-man front by the Chiefs. Back to pass is going to be big-time quarterback over to Newingham, who had it in his hands and drops it. Almost hauls it.
Oh, great well play, design play here this time, Roy. They brought Newingham and Mountain over here to the weak side, and Mountain cut across the field. Newingham took it out to the sidelines. He was wide open and just slightly overthrown.
Yeah, it was almost an over-the-shoulder type catch there. It would have been a great grab. That's one that you wish you would have caught if you're a wideout, but he might have been led very slightly. Captains now have a slot back left. Here comes the play action rolling out as Morris across the grain to Bart, who has a man on him. What a stick! Bashir Aziz that time made a huge play and busted that one up. It's fourth down.
Well, Sherrod May there that time, too. Got pressure on Tim Morris that time, Roy.
Boy, you threw that high-floating pass, and if you're the running back, you heard the footsteps. Boy, what a pop he took from Aziz.
Yeah, some great audio down there on the field. We could hear that pop down there, Roy.
If I was the type that did the ESPN replays, that would be on there. And here comes our punt. It'll be off by Jason Frank. Our deep player will be the guy, Jamie in London, who's been one of the leaders in the tonight. And near block there as the Chiefs break through on a fumbled snap. The ball will take a captain's hop inside the Chiefs' 25 as Jamie in London will walk away.
Well, that should give us time here. Let's take a short break. You're watching Comcast TV 45 Sports.
When you need a mortgage, you need answers. That's why so many consumers are relying on Roy Akers at American Mortgage Services for their home financing needs. Smart shoppers know how much they can afford before they shop and then get a firm commitment on it. When you need a mortgage, Roy Akers has the answers to your questions. For fast, dependable service from a trained professional, call Roy Akers toll-free today at 1-888-265-7500. Evening and weekend hours are available for your convenience.
A tick under 5 to play here in the first quarter here at the Wisner. Division II matchup, the Chiefs and the Captains. The Chiefs are in their black. They got the football. 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Here's a sweep toss to London. London escapes one captain tackler. He's going to try to escape 2 more and will finally be gang tackled, but not before he gains 5 on a super effort by London, the running back. That time, Walker.
Well, Jarris
is in the ball game in there, and Jarris, I'll finally get your name right, in there on the stop for WK. Well, London is the big show here for the Captains. Take a look at this. Look how he sidesteps, Bob.
Yeah, this time Mountain had a shot at him. Jarris just wrapped him up. Great tackle in there. Ryan Jarris, I think so far, has been one of the best defensive players out here for the Captains this season.
Yeah, and here's London, cuts back against the grain, is close to first down yardage. He needed to hit the 35 and outstretches and gets to 36. It depends on our spot, though. And nope, the officials like it. And that'll be the third first down of the ball game here for the Chiefs. It's a gain of 6 for London. Boy, I'll tell you, London, you get him in the backfield, he's kind of like the roadrunner back there. He just sidesteps all the little potholes and all the little lassos and everything else that the Captains are laying out. And he's picking up pretty solid yardage on almost every carry. Split out now to the near side for the Chiefs will be Chrisman, who's checked into the ball game for one of the few times tonight. Here on the run, it looks to be London again, and London will pick up 2 yards, as it looks like Coach Irv Speaks is going to a pretty predictable pattern here.
Well, this is our first look at the Pontiac Central Chiefs this season, Roy. We were supposed to do a game earlier in the broadcast season, and that game got rained out. And they'll be on again in 2 weeks against Pontiac Northern.
Yeah, we'll have that game at the Pontiac Silverdome. Yeah, that was too bad that one got rained out because the Troy Colts, one of the top teams in the state, came in here. And Troy had the bugaboo against them. They have a lot of trouble winning in this stadium, and they were happy to get the monkey off their back. Here comes the handoff to the second man through of the 3 running backs. I'm not for certain, but nope, it is London who got the carry again.
Well, a great job in there that time by Stark there, the center, and his guards. They got a good push offensively there, Roy.
Rouser and Summers are the guards and did a nice job. 3rd down and 5 here for the Chiefs, as they'll have it here at their own 40.5-yard line. They need to get to the 45.5, so hence the 5 yards. The Chiefs with 2:40 to play here in this quarter. Been a fairly quick played effort, as we've mostly seen running plays by both these squads. The Chiefs have tried to pass twice, the Captains 4 times here in this quarter. Split out now to the near side is going to be Jonathan Hall. The running backs here for the Chiefs include Franklin and London. And a flag will go as Stevens, keeper, will be brought back. What do you think it is, Bob?
I think it's delay a game, Roy. And it is. It's going to go against PC. That'll be their third penalty on the night, and that'll be for 25 yards now.
Yeah, the Chiefs have really hurt themselves this season with penalties. They have a habit of doing that. I don't know what that is. I don't know what too much time is on the field. I think that's a big sin for a penalty. It's a needless one to have that. And now the Chiefs call a timeout. Maybe they should have before that last play. Azir Speaks wants to talk to his troops. While we're talking about throwing the flags out there, our referee tonight is Pat Kelly from Shelby Township. Our umpire is Randy Coffett from Roseville. Our linesman is Ross Klein from St. Clair Shores. Our line judge is Scott Salzider, I believe it is, from Dearborn Heights. And our back judge is Gary Reynolds Jr. from Lake Orion. And thank you, our officials here for tonight's ball game. Bob?
Well, let's take a look at the remaining schedule for the Pontiac Central Chiefs. Next week, Roy, they travel down to Berkeley, and they finish up at the Silverdome on November 2nd against Pontiac Northern. And I guess, really, Roy, coming in, they're 2-1 in the division. They've still got a shot. That's going to be a tough game next week against Berkeley between these two squads.
Yeah, maybe one of the things the Chiefs can hope for is that Berkeley is going to play Royal Oak Kimball. Their big rivalry, like Kettering Mott and like Central Northern. Well, Kimball and Berkeley hook up tonight. Maybe they'll be a little banged up as I know Bruce McNorton talked last week. I don't want to steal your thunder about facing the team speed of Central. Oh, the ball's pitched back. It's going to go back here to Justin Howard, and Howard is just steamrolled at his own 36 after a gain of 1.
Adam Mountain, boy, came up from his corner, Roy, and just laid a hit on.
Jarris and Walker are also there on the stop. That time, the quarterback Stevens was nearly tackled in his own backfield. If there was an in the grasp
rule. Yeah, it was almost in the grasp there.
Yeah, if they had an in the grasp rule, that play would have been blown dead. But because his knee was not down, even though he was wrapped up, he could pitch it back. 4th down and 9, as Stevens, the quarterback, now acts as the punter. And the punt is off. Not much pressure by the captains. It's a short little screamer that's fielded by Mountain at his own 40. Escapes one tackle and is close to midfield as he's wrestled down on his own 48. And the captains will have their possession as they'll have their 3rd possession here of the first quarter.
Well, low line drive that was almost blocked up there at the line, Roy. Adam Mountain looks like the field a little bit slippery. We've had some rain here earlier today and last night, and some of the footing just a little bit down there.
And the captains have the football at their own 49. We got 1:12 to play here in the quarter. 2 wideouts. Both of those are Mountain and Newingham. And it's going to be a sweep tosser to Newingham, who actually was in the backfield, didn't catch it again. Makes some Barry Sanders type moves before he loses a yard. Boy, did he scramble around left, right, found nothing. That time the Chiefs owned the line of scrimmage on that play. A loss of 1 by Newingham.
You're going to see some of the field conditions here. Newingham tries to make the cut, slips there, Roy. There, it's just like watching a little Barry Sanders out there. Exciting, but absolutely picks up nothing.
Yeah, Newingham, after a loss of 1, is split out to the near side. The handoff will go straight up the middle to Danny Rose. And Dan Rose has picked up some key yardage and is very close and perhaps has the captain's first down. That was a misdirection play as we have a Chiefs player down here on our football field. And Bob will be taking a look at that. Right up the gut is what we had for Danny Rose. That misdirection play, it looked like he got the ball in a hurry and Morris tried to act as like it was going to be a sweep toss to Barth. Instead, Rose for 11. First down WK as our time is stopped on the field with 27 seconds to play in the quarter.
Bashar Aziz, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Roy.
Yeah.
At the linebacker, is down.
Yeah, Aziz is starting at one of the wideouts, plus is a running back tonight, and is seeing time defensively at times.
And I'll tell you, when you only got a few players over on your sidelines, Roy, the last thing you need is somebody to go down.
Rose has 18 yards and 3 carries, including that 11-yarder. Aziz has to come off the field because he required medical attention. He'll come off for at least 1 play. But Aziz has played some pretty good football. He's been around the tackle. Offensively, he hasn't really touched the ball yet, but defensively, his speed has really come in handy here for Coach Speaks and the rest of his staff of Bobby Thompson, David Edwards, Bobby Kaiser, and Steve Watkins. It was also nice to see Tom McGee, the AD, out there tonight. Whoa, looked like the ball is fumbled by the captains. It's turnover, and Central has it. I think that ball was stripped, Bob.
Yeah, it's, I don't know if we have a replay of this, Roy, that we can take a look at here, but actually, I thought it was just a tackle in the backfield, and the next thing we know, it's a turnover.
I don't know if we've got it. That ball almost looked like I don't think it ever reached the captains in the backfield. All right, we will show the turnover after this play as the Chiefs have the football after that captain's turnover. 1st and 10 at their own 42. Back to pass to Stevens here on the bomb. He's got working on the fly pattern. Mayo almost hauls it in. Mayo goes down the sidelines on the last play of the quarter. I thought he had no chance to catch that ball. And like a comet, he comes out of nowhere, had it in his hands, and it fell for naught. Real quick, let's check this turnover before we go to the end of the quarter. Holy smokes. Look at this on the handoff. It was...
Oh, just, yeah.
That ball rolled right off the arms of number 35 for the captains, whoever that was.
Morris there for the captains, number 35, Roy. And it was just loose pigskin, and Chiefs wisely picked it up.
It like rolled up his jersey or something.
Well, that'll end our first 12 minutes of this quarter. We'll be back with second quarter action right after this.
This is David.
Oh, hi.
This is what David's done. David went to college. Annapolis. David taught himself to play piano, the sax, even the bagpipes. Well, maybe not the bagpipes. David was NBA Rookie of the Year. He's also been to the Olympics twice. David even became a naval officer. David's sure done a lot. But you know one thing David's never done?
Drugs.
David doesn't do drugs. Maybe that's why he's done so much.
As these two teams take the field for a second 12 minutes of play, Stevens up over center on 2nd down and 10 as that last one was incomplete and tackled in the backfield, nowhere to room to move that time. Kayoski comes in on the tackle with Justin Dyer as that time tackled down for a gain of nothing. That time was
actually going to lose a yard there, Roy.
And I think you're right after our spot by our official. London tonight, 42 yards and 12 carries, as he has obviously carried the lion's share of the load as we are less than 30 seconds into this second quarter. Split out now to the near side will be Mayo for the Chiefs. Over to the far, it looks to be Aziz, and back to pass to Stevens. On the delayed sprint draw, is going to go to Razul. Razul's got first down yardage, 2 guys to beat, and he's gone! He'll score! What a huge run of 60 yards. It's all over. London has tied our ball game.
Well, why do you run the draw? Exactly for this reason, Roy. Just a delayed draw. That time, the Kettering captains came on the inside rush, the backers came up, and that's when you can bust the draw play.
His speed that time spun out the captain's secondary. Let's take a look at it. Look at the delay on the sprint. Nobody for the captains is home. Look at the 2 guys in the secondary. They are just spun inside and out like they're in a Football Follies movie, and our game score is tied at 6-0 with 11:10 to play here in our half.
57-yard touchdown run by Jameer London, Roy.
That was 60.
60?
I like correcting you. And here comes the Chiefs on the 2-point conversion, and they will have a sweep toss in the backfield. Nowhere to run for Bashir Aziz, and the extra point fails. Our game score remains tied at 6. Super play. That was some real speed that was shown by London. I wonder what happened if Razul was playing tonight.
Whoa.
I think that's one of the huge differences. I think that's one of the reasons why the captains have more of a chance in this football game. Not to say they didn't before, but that team speed that the Chiefs have with all that gang tackling they do, when you've lost a couple key players off your football team, you know, that's a big key. When you have a guy like Gerald Razul, the state 100-meter champ, not playing on both sides of the football, I think that's one less headache I have to worry about.
Yeah, well, you've got a good group of seniors out here, Roy, for the Chiefs. And last year, you know, we've alluded to it before, what a great season by the Pontiac Central Chiefs last year as they made it all the way to the state semifinals, lost to South Lyon in that game. They were one victory away from going against Lapeer West at the Silverdome in the finals, and we'll be talking a little bit later in the broadcast. Those finals are going to be coming up in November, Roy, and we'll give you all the information about the finals at the Silverdome.
Yeah, we sure will. It's the Chiefs. It's too bad, too, because it'd be nice to think everybody sits at home to watch our ball games, but the fact of the matter is the Chiefs only got about 100 people here tonight. And that's a real shame. That's a live football. Newingham will pick it up. He's still on his feet, and he may be gone. Stevens trying to catch him from the 50, but he's going to be outrun. It's all the way on the sidelines, Newingham. And just like that, the Captains have scored from 68 yards out. There are no flags. The Captains are up 12-6. Can you believe it?
Well, we're seeing some electrifying football here tonight, Roy. Big plays. What a way to start this second quarter.
Newingham picks that one up and takes it all the way. A short kick, took a nice fat hop. It looked like, I was like, what is he doing? That ball there looked like it was going to die in the wet grass. He picks it up. The Chiefs over-pursued on that football play. Marquis Stevens did not have the speed to rally and catch it. Holy smokes. Well, the Captains this time are going to try to go for two. Morris for the end zone on the two-pointer. He's going to scramble into the end zone. The ball is deflected off the jersey of Sherrod May that time, and it's incomplete. Our game score is now 12-6, and I don't know if you're thinking of turning to the channel to watch Baywatch. I don't think I'd do that right now. This has been quite an exciting ball game.
Well, what a way. Let's take a look at this electrifying run here by Justin Newingham on the kickoff, Roy, and he picks this ball up. Actually bobbles the ball a little bit, picks it up at the 20-yard line, Roy. This time I'll correct you. He's going to go 80 yards for the touchdown here. Scampers all along the sidelines. Stevens had a shot at him, but Newingham took it up and cut it up. Touchdown.
And now the Captains are up by a touchdown once again in this game. What a crazy turn of events we've had out here on our field. It looked like the Captains might have snuffed out the play where London scores from 60 yards out. Newingham on the kickoff return, returns at 78 yards for the touchdown. Once again, the pass fails. Our game score is 12-6. What a ball game we're shaping up. Big plays, I think, will wake anybody up. Our kickoff will be put on here by Aaron Quinn. Our deep player for the Chiefs will be Jamie in London. And we got two teams that might be pretty evenly matched out here, especially with the Chiefs' injuries. I think big things were expected out of Pontiac Central this year, but I don't think they could expect them to make the playoffs, but they could have been close without all the injuries. That ball there is going to take a crazy hop out of bounds, and the flag will be thrown. But the Chiefs had a pretty promising team because most of their offensive line, Bob, you know, you got Flores, Taylor, Rouser, these guys all return, and these guys are only juniors this year. The only senior is Scott Stark. And he's not, you know, obviously he'll graduate here in the 97 school year.
Yes,
but
Scott Stark was a great center over here last year, I remember, for the Chiefs here, Roy.
And the Chiefs had some pretty good promise with Razul coming back. Stevens is, you know, is a senior right now, and you know, he started at quarterback the games when Dante Robertson didn't, because that was a big dilemma the the Chiefs had last year. Was that Dante Robertson was a triple threat. He played a wide receiver, he was an unstoppable running back, but he was a good quarterback as well. He had a great arm, and nobody could catch his passes. His arm was so good. And now the Chiefs will have the football, 1st and 10 at their own 35. Split out to the near side will be Taylor. You'll have Stevens looking for him before we have flags. Captains have 2 penalties tonight for 10 yards. Even though the ball is spotted at the 35, they are called for a 5-yard flag. That is a flag, though, that'll also go against the captains. 3 penalties tonight for 15 yards. We have 10:50 to play here in our first half. 12-6 captains over the Chiefs. We got a trivia question for our audience tonight. If you can guess this one, you are good. How many times in school history have the Chiefs played the captains in boys football? Pass underneath. It's picked up by the captains. All kinds of running room for Dan Barth. He's inside the 25 down to the 23. What a beautiful play, and the captains have got Big Mo on their side.
Well, what set this up, Roy, was number 10, Brian Rush for the captains. He came in from the blind side this time and laid a hit on Stevens just as he was releasing the ball, and that's what caused the interception.
And now the captains are...
There you see the hit that Rush from the blind side. And that was number 32 on the pick there.
Kyle Walker. I'm sorry, buddy. That's your moment of glory. That kid did a nice job going underneath. And a very late flag is thrown against the Chiefs. The ball might have come loose in the pile, but our officials have thrown a flag, so let's hold everything. It's a flag against PC. They are not happy about that. Kyle Walker makes the pick here for the captains. I thought at first it went to Danny Barth, but that 3 was not a 3. It's a 2. We're so used to calling his number. A big penalty, a half the distance to the goal penalty. It'll be about a 8-yard penalty called against the Pontiac Central Chiefs, and that will give the captains an automatic first down. The captains have 4 first downs. The Chiefs have 3 here tonight. We have 10:20 to play here in our first half. The captains are knocking at the central doorstep here on the handoff. Once again, flags everywhere. Captains were trying to run that time, Dan Rose, but legal procedure called against WK. Captains lead at 12-6. They just got a pick a moment ago. Both these squads have turned the ball over once. The captains fumbled earlier in this ball game, and then the Chiefs have thrown an interception just moments ago.
Well, first and goal from just about, looking at it, little sidelines, about the 14-yard line, Roy.
Sure is. Got to thank the grounds crew here at the Wisner. For years, they didn't paint the yard markers out here, and we had to go over behind where the captains are standing, the visiting bench. And here's a handoff, shaking off one will be Danny Barth, and Barth will scamper down to about the 11. A nice hole underneath until it was closed by Scott Stark, and it's a gain of about 3, maybe 4.
Well, that time, good job by Malcolm Draper. Initially laid the hit on there, Roy. Broke loose out of that hit, but then came back and caused the tackle. And Draper this year, Roy, has 5 sacks. He's 2 from the county lead, with Matt Miller from Athens with 7.
Newingham split out to the far side. Reeser's a tight end, line up to the near with Mountain on his side. Barth and Rose are in our backfield, and Timmy Morris, I think, saw too much time going off the clock. Wisely calls for the TO, and as he calls for TO, so will we. You are watching the Comcast Sports Network.
When you need a mortgage, you need answers. That's why so many consumers are relying on Roy Akers at American Mortgage Services for their home financing needs. Smart shoppers know how much they can afford before they shop, and then get a firm commitment on it. When you need a mortgage, Roy Akers has the answers to your questions. For fast, dependable service from a trained professional, call Roy Akers toll-free today at 1-888-265-7500. Evening and weekend hours are available for your convenience.
If the captains, following this timeout on the 2nd down and goal from about the 11.5, if they score, great. They are certainly in the driver's seat. But they have one of the leading field goal kickers in the county, Aaron Quinn, who's kicked up to a 31-yard field goal this year. Could come out here on the field. But that's just something to think about. The captains will have 2 more downs to play with. And for their sake, hopefully they won't need them. Hopefully they can take them in. Captains out of all our Comcast teams of Mott, Kettering, Central, Northern have probably been the best team overall over the last 3-4 years. But WK is a little down this year, but they'd like to come up with a big victory over the Chiefs. And running out, and the ball is sacked as Malcolm Draper, the guy you talked about, busts through. That time he was looking for the end zone on the side with both Reeser and Newingham. Couldn't find it, and it's 3rd down and almost 20. So Draper breaks through for the first time tonight. I started to talk about a trivia question, and Bob knows the answer because I told him this, but how many times in school history have the Chiefs and the captains hooked up in prep football? Back to passes, Morris, we'll tell you in a moment. Passes over the middle to Newingham, down to the 5. A beautiful slant pattern as he cut in between Stevens and also it looks like Nicholas Franklin, and it'll be 4th and goal from the 5, a nice completion. Well, the answer to that question is you're seeing the first time these two teams have ever played. Unless we can get out a historian that can tell us otherwise. I have heard from more than one person, including Irv Speaks, who says that in his recollection, they have never played.
Yeah.
He says in
many years, you know, that the Waterford Kettering captains played in the goal, and Pontiac Central, for mmany years, were hooked up in that Saginaw Valley Conference, Roy.
And although the Chiefs played Mott quite a few times, well, the ball about ready to be snapped. Quinn will get it, and it's another skipper, but the ball is blocked. And Central can pick it up and run with it, and they will. Not sure what to do initially.
I was going to say, that was a live ball there, Roy, and I don't think any of them down on the field realized that, though, until number 37, Aziz, came up and scooped the ball up. He decided, I'm going to start taking that ball up, going down south.
That ball was snapped way too low. Once again, the captains do not use 7 yards to kick. I think they use closer to 5 or 6. Let's take a look at this. I think the captains line up too close to the line of scrimmage.
You know, and that's what happened the last time that we saw the captains, Roy. They line up too close. They got to get back 7 yards to line up for that field goal.
They're back between 5.5 and 6, and that certainly has created a difference. And here on the run will be London. And London that time will try to spin behind Stark, Rouser, and Summers. He'll gain a yard or so before he's brought down by several players, including the senior, Andy Kioski, who's getting some very valuable playing time here this evening. No gain for London. London now tonight has 14 carries for 102 yards. 60 of them came on his touchdown scamper on the Chiefs' last drive. We have played just over 5 minutes here of the half. Split out here of the near side is Jalelu Mayo, and back to pass Stevens with all kinds of time. As Mayo over the middle, Mayo had wheels. Mayo had the lid off the jar.
And Mayo saw a lot of green out in front of him that time, Roy. That time he had to look the ball in. Even if it would have counted, Roy, we've got all kinds of those yellow hankies down on the field here, and
might be an illegal man downfield. The officials will tell us for sure. A referee, Pat Kelly from Shelby Township, is he'll sort it out with the rest of his crew. The Chiefs, look at them. They're marched off there into the JV field, so looks like they're pretty satisfied with the call going against them. It is. It might even be a holding call. The ball has been moved. It's a 15. It might be clipping. Yeah, I think that's clipping territory there.
Yeah, or either maybe an unsportsmanlike
personal foul. Oh boy, does that hurt your team there. First, make that 3rd down and 25. The Chiefs, they might need to launch a satellite to find the 1st down marker. 3rd down and quite a lot. They will have, once again, out here to the near, it'll be Mayo, as they got 2 running backs in the backfield. Stevens on the sprint draw. This time it'll go to London. London tries to wrap around one guy, but shame on me if you fool me once. Shame on you twice, and the captains smell that one out. As that time, Mike Berry, Al Duff, and the rest of the captains had a shadow for that play. And a beautiful wrap-up by Kyle Walker. You got a pick, and you got a key tackle on 3rd down.
Don't get no safety, Marquise.
That was a yard gain for London, but the captains will take that one because they needed 25, did the Chiefs. As back here to receive this punt will be Newingham. It's off. The captains with a decent rush. That ball's a short effort. It is handled out of bounds. The captains will have great field position as they'll have it on the Pontiac Central 46. The Chiefs do not have a running game. A kicking game. No doubt about it. Other games here in Comcast land going on this weekend. Waterford Mott in their homecoming tonight will face J.D. Graves and the rest of the Troy Athens squad that was pummeled, humiliated, and much worse against Clarkston, 45-0 last week. The Corsairs are 1-5 against Athens, 5-1. Northern is playing over at Seaholm. Northern is 4-2, and if they have any chances to make the playoffs, that ball is going to be re-kicked.
Must have been a penalty there, and I don't know if that was before the actual play there. Roy, they're going to make a punt it again.
Out of his own end zone. The other Comcast teams that are playing this weekend is a game we're going to have for you tomorrow on TV, Notre Dame Prep versus Our Lady of the Lakes. The punt is off, and a poor effort. Mountain will field it on the 40. He's got all kinds of blockers in front. He's down in the 30, the 20, the 15. He cuts back, and he's close to scoring as he's at the doorstep, and another flag. And I bet you the captains will turn that one down. I bet you that we're going to have somebody leaving early there on that play. The Chiefs are making the 3 or 4 games worth of mistakes here in the first half, with 5:50 to play here in the half.
Yeah, talk about watching us here on Comcast TV 45 on Monday night. Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m., Roy, we're going to see that old rematch between Pontiac Notre Dame Prep and Waterford Our Lady of the Lakes. And Ed Maloney and Mike Boyd will hook up once again. That used to be the old Pontiac Catholic and Waterford Our Lady of the Lakes, and for many years, Roy, that was some battle here in Oakland County between those two teams.
Yeah, it's nice to see that these two teams are in the same league after not playing for a long, long time. And because of some different things going on, we didn't do Catholic League sports for a long time in Waterford and Pontiac, mostly because of all the tanglements. The Catholic League tried to put us through to broadcast for them, but they've been unscrambled for 3 or 4 years, and now we've been able to start doing more of the Catholic sports. What a ball game we have had. You're seeing it in Waterford right now between Notre Dame Prep and Waterford Our Lady of the Lakes.
Roy.
What
Waterford Kettering has just been called for a 15-yard penalty. Personal foul on that punt. Now, I don't know if that was on the return.
Well, it had to be before the kick. If it was after, it had to be while the kick was going on. I have no idea what happened. That is something you'd almost like to talk to the officials at after the ball game is over. And the Chiefs are going to have the ball in a huge key turnaround at their own 24-yard line with 5:36 to go here in a half. Stevens with a very deep drop over the middle on the bomb, launching it all alone. Wide open, the ball just overthrown to David Flores, the tight end. Oh, David, if you had a little more speed, you would have hauled that in for a big gainer. Ball overthrown. The play was set up. You busted apart that time Adam Mountain and J.R. Zapata, who was helping you out on the 2-deeper, and it's now going to make it 2nd and 10. Boy, you had that play set up. The Captains are playing a pretty good ball game here tonight. They have hemmed in the Chiefs. The Chiefs are undermanned, but the Captains are still playing a pretty good ball game here. The Chiefs so far have been bothered by a lot of penalties, although the Captains just made a big mistake a minute ago. Ball overthrown and almost picked. That time, that ball went through the outstretched arms of Mayo, Danny Barth.
Yeah, Dan Barth there that time. I think that was a time there where you see a lot of green in front of you. And actually, but that time Mayo cutting across might have blocked up the view from that ball.
Well, it looked like Mayo had the ball go through his arms, and Barth, you can't get on Barth at all because Barth never even saw the guy. He was screened, and the ball just happened to go off his arm, but there was no way he had a clear shot at the ball. 5:21 to go here in a half. 12-6 Captains over the Chiefs. The Chiefs have the football, 2nd and 10 at their own 24-yard line.
I think that's a big key play here for the Pontiac Central Chiefs, Roy. Get the momentum back here. They need a first down.
Need to do something. They haven't done anything in this quarter. Stevens back on a deep drop. Flags down everywhere. Stevens will avoid the rush. He's now in the open over the 25, the 30. Remember, we got a flag, and Stevens will run for the marker, runs into the captain's bench, and almost crashes into the bleachers over there. And I'll tell you what, this flag is probably going to be a holding call against Pontiac.
But how Stevens got out of the pile there, Roy, that he did. He almost fell backwards into the stack there, kept his balance, and then spun it back outside.
Do we have that one by chance?
I don't know if we have that one. Let's ask our director down there in the truck. Our director tonight, Matt Latham.
All right, I guess we won't that time. But Stevens steps through the lasso. It looked like somebody had his feet corralled them, looked like they're going to tighten the noose.
Yeah, went high and low and still got away.
Well, the Chiefs are going to be called for a holding penalty. That'll back them back. It's a spot foul. It's going to be about a 13-yard flag called against Pontiac. Chiefs have been called for 6 penalties tonight.
15 yards, golly.
Make that, no, they've been called for 7 penalties here this evening. Well, we've had ourselves a pretty good season of football here so far. Comcast has virtually had a curse going on this year, Bob. We've called like 6 football games. The home squad has lost 4 of them. We had the captains beat Kimball earlier this year, and Northern won at home against Mott last week.
Well,
everybody else has lost.
We've got an official timeout down here on the field, Roy. Somebody over there on the sidelines has been injured over there on the play as somebody went into the bench area over there. Let's take a timeout.
That was Stevens.
Yeah, we'll be right back after this. You're watching Comcast TV 45 Sports.
Statistics show that the average person over a lifetime has 75,302 dreams, 3.8 surprise parties, 563 pairs of socks, and 8.6 different jobs. Is educated by 39.7 teachers, laughs 1.5 million times, finds $8.15 in the sofa, tries 12 different hairstyles, plays 6.4 sports, and owns 3.5 pets. But the average person only has one life, so why mess it up with drugs? A message of 29.3 seconds from a drug-free Navy and Marine Corps.
Well, after a rather lengthy injury time out there, Marquise Stevens that time went over in the sidelines, Roy, at the end of the play, and maybe one of the student trainers over there for the Waterford Kettering Captains was injured on the play. What it has done is delayed here, not on videotape, but during the game, rather about 15 minutes off the clock here, and the Pontiac Central Chiefs and the Waterford Kettering Captains, I think the Captains had the big momentum on their favor here, and long time out here, rather advantage to both squads as they're able to come along the sidelines and talk to their coaches.
Yeah, we still have 5:06 to play here in the opening half. The Chiefs have the football. They'll have it now 3rd down, and they'll have it about 23 yards away from a first down. They had a holding penalty on that last play, and that's where we ended things. And now the Captains and the Chiefs are both kind of doing some windmill type stuff out there on the field because they have sat out there as a young lady, it looks like, was hurt when Mr. London ran out of bounds and was probably ill-prepared to see him coming through.
And this is where you want to see the players actually do get kind of stretched out. This is where you can start pulling those old hamstrings or start cramping up after a long delay like that, Roy.
Yeah, the Captains are taking advantage of it. I don't know what our delay is at this point. Our scoring, to recap for you tonight, the Captains scored. Morris passed to Reeser from 24 yards out. The run failed. Actually, the kick failed. It turned into a pass, and a 60-yard run by Razul tied it. Our second quarter action saw a big 78-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Newingham. All the extra points failed tonight. It's 12-6 Captains. Back out of the shotgun will go Stevens. And on the delayed sprint draw, it's going to be London who avoids one player over 2 and is tackled out over the 30-yard line for a huge gain of about 23 yards. He almost busted it all the way again.
25. They stopped him 2 yards short here. 3 yards short, Roy. And let's take a look at it here. You see, out of the shotgun, a great look. Just handoff there to London that time, Roy, and London takes it up there for 23 yards, and it looks like the Chiefs are going to go for it, Roy.
Yeah, they got it 4th down from their own 31-yard line. They need the 34, and here they're going to have the powerhouse look. It's going to be to London. London is close to first down yardage, piles up close to the marker. He needs the 34. I think he only got the 33. It depends what'll happen on the second effort.
Great spot in there by the officials. He clearly picked it up by a yard over here, Roy.
You are correct. 4-yard pickup. It was second effort. He was initially stopped, but he stuck the football out and had one last gasp as the Chiefs picked up their 4th first down, and that was very unlikely. And I think that the Captains are going to have to start shadowing that guy and take their chance with single coverage because so far Stevens is 0 for 5 passing tonight.
Yeah, I think I'd come up and play London and make Marquise Stevens throw the ball on me. Much like we did last season during those semifinal run and those playoff games. I would have had Stevens and throw the ball to beat me.
Too much time, I believe, has been called against the Chiefs. You have not seen the flag go down. But the officials, yeah, well, it's being marked off. So once again, the Chiefs have been called for their 8th penalty so far here tonight. It'll make it 1st down and 15. Our clock is running following a penalty, which is strange enough. We have 3.5 to play with our clock running to destination halftime. 12-6 Captains. They're on the road here at the Wisner in this Division II matchup. Split out now to the near side for the Chiefs. They're going to have Bashir Aziz as they're going to have the powerhouse backfield, one tight end. Here's a wraparound handoff. It's going to go this time. Streaming outside's Mayo. Mayo fumbles the ball, and Jarris initially had it. There's a pile up on the field, and the officials are going to unscramble it.
Well, Tim Morris on the tackle, Roy, did a great job of stripping the ball from Mayo that time.
Mayo is almost going to be penalized, really, for making a second effort. He fumbles the ball, and the Captains have the turnover, but who is the flag on?
Well, we're going to have the personal foul called against the Waterford Kettering Captains. Let's take a look at it here on replay. That time, Morris just strips the ball away, and Jarris sticks his nose in there and sniffs out the ball and covers up, Roy.
Boy, he has got to be the Captain's MVP on defense this year. This kid is making a lot of tackles. Boy, I gotta like playing at that free safety position. You can mop up.
Ryan Jarris, just a junior this year, Roy. He's going to be one of the seniors out here next year.
Well, they will not. Holy smokes!
And that's going to should be 1st down now.
They are going to give the Captains the ball, but they will have 15 yards marched off them, and that is a post-turnover, post-possession foul, which means the Captains will lose 15 yards to take over. They have 1st and 10 at the PC 47. They will have the football.
Actually, no, Roy, this is going to bring up 1st and 25. They're going to mark the ball down here. It should bring up 1st and 25. They had it
correct.
1st and 10. They had it 1st and 10. The foul came after the play. They'll mark it back 15 yards. 1st down 25 on the PC 48.
Good call. 47-yard line. You need to get down to the official. Actually, the chain gain is still there. You go. Now they had it at the 20 for just a second, but now it's the 22. With 3:01 to play here in a half. It's been a crazy game here for these officials. They had that long stoppage of play following that spectator injury, and they've had a lot of confusion here on this turnover. So the Chiefs turn it over on a fumbled run by Mayo. Here comes the handoff. It goes straight up the gut, as this time it's going to go to Joe Morris, and Morris will pick up about 4 yards before he's wrapped up by Malcolm Draper, and also looks like Jonathan Hall might have put the pinch on him there. It's about a 3-yard gain there for the Captains.
Well, Roy, we talked about it in our pregame. Look for Nick Reeser here.
Well, we like to see that. Here comes the handoff straight up the middle. It's Barth. Barth has busted everybody. He's up inside the 5. Scampers into the end zone. Touchdown. Goes off tackle that time. Holy smokes. I didn't think he had the speed, but from 42 yards out.
Dan Rose that time, Roy, and for you called it Barth there, but it was Dan Rose, and that's one of the quickest runs I've seen from Dan Rose this year.
Boy, Rose busted through. I don't know if we have this one here for you, but this time he was on a quick hitter and went right up the middle. The Chiefs overcommitted their linebackers to the outside. He runs up on a line buck, and our game scores now 18-6 as the Captains will go for 2. Morris is up over center. He's got Barth to one side, and it's the pass into the end zone. It looks like it's to Newingham, and the pass is broken up by Nicholas Franklin, who is one of the 8 two-way players for Irv Speaks. Pass is incomplete, and once again, another big lead. Let's take a look at it.
This time you're going to see it. It'll be quick. It's Dan Rose. He breaks through right up the middle. The middle linebackers that time came in on the play, Roy. They got caught out of position, and there's no strong safety there and no free safety to pick up Rose. 43-yard touchdown by Dan Rose.
60 yards and 4 carries for this young man, and now the Captains are leading in this contest 18-6. no extra points have been made, either by the 1 or the 2 count here so far tonight.
Well, let's take a look here. The remaining schedule for the Waterford Kettering Captains. They're back home next week, Roy, against West Bloomfield. That's a game I think the Captains obviously should win. And the classic matchup, November 1st, and that's another Comcast TV 45 game at back home against Mott Corsairs to end out the season.
Quinn to kick to one of the up men. It's going to be to the Chiefs' Franklin. And Franklin will be stacked up as he approaches the 35-yard line, falls at about the 37, and the Chiefs with 2:09 to play in the first half will have one last opportunity to try to put some points and close the Captain's 12-point lead. Besides our ball game tonight, you're also seeing a couple of games making the rounds, including Mott Kettering soccer, Notre Dame Prep, our Waterford Our Lady basketball right now. Jenna Felice, one of the state's best players, ranked as the 3rd best player in all of Oakland County, hit a shot with less than 1 second to go in that ball game. And boy, what action you got to see on Comcast this fall. Stevens is up over center. He's got wideouts to the near, including Kenny Taylor. Over to the far is Mayo, and he's looking for him, but the pressure comes downfield. He's hit late. The ball is hit up into the air, but what a stick. Jarris was all set to intercept that ball, but acting, Jameer London, who was going out for the pass that time, put a big stick on Waterford Kettering's player, and that ball will fall incomplete. And that was a nice job by the Central.
Actually, that time, a great play by London. He didn't become the receiver that time. He became the tackler.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He was the receiver, and he had to act as a tackler, correct. And that ball falls incomplete as Stevens is 0 for 6 passing this evening, as our clock is temporarily stopped with 1:59 to go here in the quarter. And now in motion, you got London, who's going to act as a slot back right. Back to pass to Stevens. He's looking for him. We got flags down. The pocket will collapse, and it's a sack.
Well, Brian Rush there, he's been in the backfield a lot and put a lot of pressure tonight, Roy, on Marquise Stevens. And what I like about Rush is he's coming from the blind side over there.
That play will stick. It looks like the flag is being picked up. That's a 4-yard sack, make that 5 yards. And with 1:50 to play here in this first half, that'll make it 3rd down and 15. Stevens went over to talk to Coach Speaks. And it looks like they took a non-official timeout, and now the Captains will call a timeout, as I think they want to plot strategy, is in 2 plays. Central's only taken like 14 seconds off the clock, and I think that the Captains couldn't have been so helpful before that drive.
Right, 3rd down and 15. The Captains can get this ball back here if they can get a stop here before the half runs out.
How much you want to bet that if the Captains make a stop here, that they will send everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about the 1996 Michigan High School Athletic Association football playoffs. They'll finish off at the Silverdome on November 29th and 30th, with 8 champions being crowned. The finals in Class A, B, C, and D will be played on November 29th, while the title games in classes AA, Double B, Double C, and Double D will take place on the 30th. Don't miss this opportunity to attend high school football's finest moment. Make plans now to attend this year's championships at the Pontiac Silverdome on November 29th and 30th. This has been a public service message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association and Comcast Cable.
Boy, you're talking about Double A, Double B, Double C, and Double D. I thought you were talking about some of my old girlfriends there for a minute. But anyway, I'm sorry. Let's get back to football. Troy is ranked number 1 in the county. Birmingham Brother Rice is ranked 2nd. Clarkston is 3rd. South Lyon is 4th. Wall Lake Western is 5th. Farmington Hills Harrison is 6th. Troy Athens is 7th. Ferndale is 8th. Hazel Park is 9th. And Berkeley is 10th. So now here comes Central. They'll have it now 4th down and 15, and they're actually going to go for it with a power backfield. The Captains are coming. The ball is fumbled for a long time, and Stevens, who gets up and tries to run, actually picked up that fumbled ball while he was on his knees, which blew the play dead, and the Captains have a tremendous break and have a very short field to work with 1:33 to play. Boy, they better hurry up to go. The clock is rolling. 1:28 and counting. The Captains are going on the field slowly. Why is the clock continuing to run?
I can't. This is a changeover. They're sending out the punt. No, this is a changeover at downs, Roy. Why is the clock running?
Well, a minute ago they had 3rd down and quite a bit. between plays, he made a 4th down in quite a bit. The Chiefs went for it.
This was a fumble recovery. It's a turnover, Roy, and the clock is supposed to stop at the end of the turnover.
Well, this is going to definitely...
The Waterford Kettering captains have lost a lot of time, and the officials better put time back on this clock. Because if I was Mike Berry, I'd be livid over there right now.
They ran off almost 20 seconds off the clock. See, I thought it was 3rd down going in the play, then I saw the down marker.
It was 3rd down going into the play, Roy, and they must have called the fumble that the captains recovered the fumble. Either way, at that point, the clock should have stopped.
What a confusion. They're going to let everything stand.
I'll bet you Mike Berry and maybe some of his troops over there didn't see that clock continue to run, Roy.
Well, the officials are going to go with...
Well, now they do. They're going to reset the clock back here to 1:45, it looks like, Roy.
1:34 is what we hear.
34.
So we said 20 seconds. That's about what it came to. The captains are going to have some more salt here for their French fries here, so to speak. Is the clock?
Kind of confused as I don't know if we have that on replay. Who recovered the fumble out here for the captains?
Well, if they went, no, it's not even going to matter if it was on 4th down, which is what the down marker was. If there's a fumble, and the captains, it doesn't matter whether they make it or not. It's going to be the captain's ball.
But if it was 4th down, I don't know. Irv Speaks, he should have sent his punt team out there. You know, I don't think Irv Speaks would have gone for it on 4th and 15.
I don't know. Somewhere we got a missing piece of the puzzle here, and that's something that we might want to bring up here after the ball game is over. Well, the clock is being reset. The clock was milked down, and eventually time will be put on. They might even have to keep time on the field. Well, now we'll get it. There we go. We're down to 3:34. There you go. We're going to have it. The captains will have the football 1st and 10 at the Chiefs' 30-yard line.
1st and 10 at the Chiefs' 30.
And now the captains have the football. They're going to have a slot back right. That'll be Adam Mountain. The normal running backs are in the backfield, including this guy here on the scramble. It's going to be Danny Barth, who's going to spin around to the 10, and it's finally wrapped up by Marquis Stevens, the left cornerback, after a huge gain. A beautiful run by Barth, who that time picks up a captain's 1st down. And with 1:25 to go here, and the clock is once again starting to roll, the captains will have it. 1st and 10 at the Chiefs' 10. What a surprise. They are winning big here on the road tonight. The Chiefs have not helped themselves between injuries and miscommunication. Back out of the slot, it's going to be out there to Barth. Barth will be tackled inside the 5 as he takes a swing pass that will drag a tackler that time. I think it's going to be, I'm not sure if it's Aziz.
Yeah, Aziz.
And there is a late flag down,
But
too.
the one thing Aziz did kept Barth in bounds here, Roy.
Although we have an injury on the field.
And we have a flag over there too, Roy.
Yeah, we have flags, and it looks like the officials once again are going to have a Kleenex convention.
Called against the Pontiac Central Chiefs. Face mask.
It's a half the distance to the goal penalty, as you call it. It's only a 3-yarder.
But that's a 1st down, Roy.
Sure is, and the captains can run into halftime here. Clock is once again rolling. We got 51 seconds to play here in half number 1. On the handoff, going off one player is Barth, but Barth is wrapped up by the Chiefs' Malcolm Draper, who's in there on the stop. Also down there is Sherrod May, and that'll make it 2nd down with 36 seconds to play here. And I'll tell you, the captains are taking their sweet old time, and I think that they got a pass right here.
Yeah, look for Newingham maybe cutting in on a slant, or Nick Reeser here on the play.
And here comes the handoff, up straight up the gut in the end zone. Touchdown, Rose. Beautiful play action. We were looking maybe for the quarterback to roll out, but Rose will score from 3 yards. And with 19 seconds to go in the 1st half, the captains are up 24-6 with a chance for more.
Well, at halftime, we'll just take a short time out. There'll be no halftime show out here tonight, and we'll be back with third quarter action after just a few short moments.
And here comes the pitch out wide to the other side, into the end zone, scampering and falling forward. Danny Barth for the first extra point conversion tonight, 26-6 Captains, and they will kick it off. And boy, are the Chiefs in a daze right now.
Yeah, I think Irv Speaks is going to like to get into the locker room at halftime, Roy.
26-6 as the Chiefs are being shell-shocked here at home.
But, you know, coming into the ball game, and you alluded to in your pregame show, Roy, and for the people that are out there watching tonight, the Pontiac Central Chiefs, they did not have a deep roster. 30 players. You look at a Clarkston who has 68 players on their roster. The Pontiac Central Chiefs have 30 players. They came into tonight's ball game with 22 players dressed here tonight, Roy. And they're just a banged-up football team right now.
Well, they've dressed 22 guys tonight. They had 30 to begin with. 8 guys are going two-way here this evening, and the Chiefs they've had players go down in practice. They've had a couple big players go down in their games last week. Dante Herring would play a lot tonight if he'd have been there, as well as Gerald Rasul. Sylvester Thomas isn't playing, and others, and it's tough. Captains will kick it off deep, and the ball will be fielded by Stevens, who will finally pick it up at his own 14, will cut across the field, and he will scamper on a couple of Captains, gets a couple of blocks, gets out over the 30. We got clips everywhere, and the Captains will finally run him out as Aaron Quinn, the kicker will put the shoulder on him and knock him out with 6 seconds to go here in the half. This will probably be a clip. Anytime you cut east and west, there's a big opportunity for that to happen. Another big penalty here. 9 penalties by the Chiefs here in the first half.
Let's take a look at this great run. That time Stevens kind of left that pigskin laying on the ground there. There, you see the block in the back right there, Roy. As this will all come back, and I think if I'm Pontiac Central with 6 seconds left here in this half, I'm going to take a knee and I'm going to go into the locker room, and I'm going to get a little talking to from Coach Irv Speaks.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pretend that I didn't hear any of that. I'm going to pretend I didn't even show. Well, actually, the Chiefs already pretended they showed up here for this half, but holy smokes. The Chiefs, they got an explosive team. They got the speed, but the Captains have played an excellent 24 minutes of football. Stevens on the drop up over the middle. The pass is incomplete. It might have skipped the London.
Almost nearly intercepted in there, Roy, by David Rushman.
1 second to go in the half. Only 5 elapsed, and Central will have one last play. In this half, Marquis Stevens is 0 for 7. The big goose egg for him.
Look for maybe here in the second half for Al Duff to bring 7 men up and just bottle up the line here, Roy. Put 7 men in the box.
Stevens for one last opportunity goes underneath the London. London spins off one guy, but the Captains have 4 guys corralled around him, and our half will end. Captains very much totally dominate the Chiefs, 26-6, squaring off 3 touchdowns here in the second quarter, hence their 26-6 lead. We'll be back for our second half of action. We'll be back with our first half stats with Bob and Roy. You'll catch that in a few minutes here at Comcast.
Pizza. Voted Michigan's best pizza by the Michigan Restaurant Association. Call and order one of Dolly's 7 delicious specialty pizzas, like the Mesquite Grilled Chicken Parmesan Pizza. Get a large round or square pizza for just $9.99. Check your mail for more Dolly's Pizza specials. At Dolly's Pizza, we know what you like. At Dolly's Pizza, we know what you like.
Oakland County, big city living in the country. Oakland County, where the variety is endless. You'll find superior educational facilities, such as Oakland University and the world-renowned Cranbrook Educational Community. A wealth of cultural pursuits, including 30 theater companies and the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. Nationally known entertainment facilities, the Pontiac Silverdome, home of the Detroit Lions, and the Palace of Auburn Hills, where the world champion Detroit Pistons play. Top-notch medical facilities, such as St. Joseph Mercy Hospital and Beaumont Hospital. The county is a bona fide water and recreation wonderland, with more than 450 lakes, more than 60 golf courses, and several magnificent parks, including the Detroit Zoological Park. Oakland County, where people are the most valuable resource and diversity is celebrated. Oakland County, where lessons are learned, games are played, and good times are limited only by your imagination. Oakland County, where beauty abounds.
Well, welcome back. We're at 24 minutes left here in our telecast here tonight in our ball game. And Roy, you got some stats there through the first half. Why don't you go through them here?
Yeah, first unofficially for the winning captains, 26-6 so far at the halfway point. Morris is 2 for 5 passing tonight for 35 yards. He's also been sacked a couple of times, actually once here tonight. Dan Rose is the leading ball carrier, 4 carries for 60 yards. That's Rose. Bart has 3 carries for 54. Nobody else has more than 1 carry for just a minuscule couple of yards. Marquis Stevens passing for the Chiefs is 0 for 7. London, the leading ball carrier, 130 yards and 17 carries. Stevens also has a big carry tonight for 30-some yards, and that's pretty much been our stats. The Captains have the ball to open up our half. They're going to have it here and bringing it up the field for them, streaming the sidelines. I can't.
Tim Morris on
Is it Morris?
Yeah,
I was going to say, I thought it was him.
Picked it up about the 15-yard line, right? Took it up and brought it up to good field position up to about 39.
Well, it sure is nice to see the hospitality of Mr. McGee and Mr. Lilly here at Pontiac Central, who've been kind enough to open up their doors here for us here this evening. How you doing, Mr. McGee? We'll see you here, I'm sure, pretty soon here for the Chiefs Northern game. He's going up the stairs here at the Wisner. We played 9 seconds. The captains are going to move out here. Rose and Barth will be in the backfield. Morris is the quarterback. Newingham and Mountain are the wideouts over to the far side. Here's a sweep toss deep in the backfield to Barth. Barth will have the football, and this time his legs are brought together, and he's kind of corralled to the ground after a loss of maybe a yard that time. In on the stick for the Chiefs include Nicholas Franklin. Hope you enjoyed our halftime interview of Aubrey Tipton, the Chiefs' longtime basketball coach. Boy, Coach Tipton, we talked before the interview began. He knew he had a big job to do when he first took over the Chiefs. The girls were raw than Georgia peanuts out there.
There you see the last first play of our first half there.
It's a loss, but now the Chiefs are, out of all our Comcast teams, I would rank them second right now behind only Our Lady of the Lakes.
Yeah, he really has done a great job, Roy, of turning that program around for many years. A lot of those, and it goes back into the early 80s, actually, when I worked over here for the Pontiac School District, and they cut out the sports and had to make the budget cuts, and it just killed a lot of the athletic programs and some of the music programs that were over here. They had some great school, participation, and that really hurt the Pontiac School District.
And these programs, for numbers and enthusiasm, still hurts Pontiac to this day. And here comes a handoff now to Rose. Rose here up over midfield, has first down yardage as he drags a tackler, as Bashir Aziz was barely hanging on, a gain of 14 yards. What a carry for Rose, who's having a huge game this evening, as he once again 5 carries for 74 yards here this evening.
There you see Rose. He's cutting it right up off the ends. They're doing a great job. The tight ends that time, Reeser made a good kick back on the end there, Roy, and that's what sprung Rose.
Newingham split out over here to the near, Mountain over to the far, out of the eye. The handoff will go to the first man through. It's going to be Danny Barth, and Barth piles up inside the central 45 to the 43. It's a gain of 4 yards that time. The tackler getting up on that play, it looked like they had a number 74 who is not listed on our roster.
Well, that time, though, a great job by Steve Robinette, the center, and Jason Trozen, the guard, and Dave McGugan. They're getting a good offensive push right up the middle, Roy.
58 yards and 4 carries for Barth. All around good ground game here for WK tonight. Here comes a handoff to Rose. Rose has got first down yardage and more. A late flag thrown deep in the backfield. The captains might be being called for a hold, as that time the ball carrier Rose might have got a little help there from his friends, and that might be coming back.
Ouch, that's going to hurt, because that's where the flag comes from, Roy, and that's going to be a spot foul back here.
Yeah, that is huge. That's way in the backfield. That is going to be...
Well, it's actually, I guess they do mark it off right about almost at the line of scrimmage, Roy.
Yeah, they will have it. That will be a 10-yard penalty as called against the captains here tonight. Both of these teams have had a lot of foul calls against them here this evening. 7 penalties called against the captains for 60 yards as of this point of the ball game. The Chiefs even have more. Back out of the shotgun goes Morris, going over the middle, going deep for Reeser. The ball is way overthrown. He got tangled up with Franklin that time, but that ball was probably overthrown anyway. Ball falls incomplete, and with 9:46 to play here in the third quarter, the captains have a 26-6 lead, and really a mild surprise here at the Wisner.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've talked about it, and the Kettering captains, they've struggled a lot this season, Roy, and I thought coming into this ball game, it'd be pretty well evenly played, and the captains so far, this is the best football that we've seen them play here on Comcast TV 45.
Yeah, they played well in spots against Kimball, especially the comeback. Over the middle, the pass is picked. Stevens, the quarterback, a two-way player with it at the 30. Got all kinds of room up over midfield. Runs around captain's tacklers, but hanging on as coming in from behind him, Danny Rose will wrap him up, and that's a pick, as once again the captains will throw another one. The 13th interception of the year against Tim Morris will give the Chiefs Big Mo right here in the captain's territory.
Here you see Tim Morris. This time Tim Morris just overthrows the ball, and Marquise Stevens, he's back there just playing the safety, Roy, and he finds some room along the sidelines, and a great tackle in there. I think that was by
that was Rose.
Rose on the tackle.
And now split out here to the near side will be Aziz. Split out over to the 4 is Mayo. The handoff will go straight up the middle to none other than London, who will now be running here for, it looks like, his 17th carry of the night. And he is going to gain about 7 on that play before the captains can haul him in. 130 yards. Make that 40 yards here on 17 carries for him tonight. We have played our opening 3 minutes here of the second half. A turnover and an intercept. Both these squads have 2 turnovers apiece. The Chiefs have had 1 and 1, a fumble and an intercept, and the captains have had the same. Up over center will be Marquise Stevens. Here on the wraparound handoff, goes up to London. London will pick up some nice valuable yardage as he's got a first down and more, as that time he's going to drag Mr. Walker and Zapata, as Jarris is in there as well. That's another gain of about 6, maybe 7 yards. Only the 5th first down this evening for PC. The Chiefs will have the football. They're on the march following the pick by Marquise Stevens here just a few moments ago. Stevens out of the free safety slot has played a pretty good ball game. His speed has broken up several of the captain's passes. Up over center, here comes a handoff on a reverse counter tray by London. London around the 20, scampers inside as Jarris. They had him faked out around the sideline, but Jarris stuck out his big arm and tripped up London, or London might have been off to pay dirt there. Another big gain, and I have heard it, but I have not seen.
Well, it's got to be a first down there, Roy.
Well, it is a first down. I heard up top that they said there was a flag. I didn't see one, and there isn't one.
Come on, let's get the flag. Come on, Brandon. On you, Brandon.
156 yards and 19 carries. Once again comes London, and London will almost thought about pitching it back as he's tackled in his own backfield. The captain's Kyle Walker was in there on the stop. Walker snuffed out that play all the way. That's a loss of about 4 yards there for the ball carrier. That'll make it 2nd down and 14. The Chiefs will have it now at their captain's 25-yard line as we've played 4 minutes, 20 seconds of the third. 26-6 WK here on the road in this Division II matchup. The tailback right now was London. The fullback for them will be Nicholas Franklin, who's only touched the ball once tonight. London once again up over the top. And once again, Kyle Walker puts the shoulder pads to him and will knock him down for about a 1-yard gain.
Well, and that time we talked about it, and we're going to see if Al Duff was going to bring, and at that time he got 7 men up into the box there, Roy, and I think he's going to dare Irv Speaks and Marquis Stevens to pass the ball on him if he's going to beat him.
0 for 7 is what Stevens is tonight, and that's why the captains, Mike Berry and company, are trying to get this fella corralled. Split out here to the far side will be Mayo. Over to the near once again will be Aziz. The Chiefs are going to work with 2 running backs, and here this time back to pass on the naked bootleg. Sacked and fumbled. The captains are going to fall on the football. It's a huge turnover for WK as once again Dan Rose makes a huge play. 5 turnovers tonight, 3 on the Chiefs, and just after the Chiefs get a turnover against the captains return the favor to the home team. What a huge turn of events as the Chiefs are trying to get back in this game, and it won't happen here.
Well, you can see Marquis Stevens this time, and number 27 there for the captains,
Zapata.
Roy. Zapata is able to strip the ball from Stevens.
And that will be a sack and a fumble and a loss for the quarterback Stevens. Here comes the handoff. It goes straight up the middle to Joe Morris. Morris is up at his 38, gets hard-earned yardage of 3. As this time he'll run right behind his big running backs of McGugan, Robinette, and Justin Dyer. And it'll be 2nd down and 7. Morris running for only the 2nd time tonight for 6 yards. Now the captains will come out of their huddle with 6:10 to play here in this quarter. Mountains out here to the near side. Newingham over to the far. The captains have a slot back left, and as the tailback is Rose, Morris on the fumble has to roll out. He's got naked bootleg room. 1st down yardage over midfield. Stevens will wrap him up. He has 2nd effort, though, as he lunges forward to the 46-yard line. What a big gain. The captains on another broken play. It happened earlier in the game.
Tim Morris did a great job of picking up that pigskin off the turf there, Roy, and then took off around the end there and picked up the 1st down.
Only 6 first downs tonight do the captains have. Also, one of those 6 came off the penalty of the Northern early in the ball game.
And this time you can see some pretty good speed out of Tim Morris that time, Roy.
Used his left forearm to gain ahead about another 1.5 yards. On 2nd effort, Joe Morris on 1st down from the Pontiac Central 45 will spin off a couple of blockers, including Jason Trozen, to pick up 2 more, and it's now 2nd down and 8 as the captains are once again on the move. Morris is starting to see some time in place of Danny Barth out there tonight, as Coach Mike Berry is trying to get some valuable playing time to another underclassman. We have played our opening 7 minutes here of the 3rd. 26-6 captains over the Chiefs in this Comcast televised game. Newingham split out to the near. Handoff goes up the middle. I think we got a legal motion here on WK. A couple of offensive players were both moving to the line of scrimmage at the same time, and we'll wait for our official call.
Well, probably one of the overlooked players out here and really hasn't received a lot of balls out his way, and he's a big-time player out here this year for the captains, Roy, and that's Justin Newingham. Talk about that Royal Oak Kimball game. That's the Waterford Kettering captain's only victory this season. Justin Newingham in that game, and that comeback, he had 2 great pass receptions to keep that drive alive.
Including the game winner. And here comes on the handoff, straight up the gut to Rose. Rose has got 5, make it 10 yards. Stacked up, falls forward as the Chiefs that time are being manhandled by the ball carrier.
Talking about dragging some people along with you on the play, Roy. Dan Rose just kept that leg driving and picked up another additional 3 yards on the play.
10-yard gain, 3rd down and short. Take a look at this one again. Talk about Mr. Hustle. Pete Rose has nothing on this guy.
I mean, Stevens was in there he carried both of those players.
And the officials are going to take a yard away, make it a 9-yard gain rather than 10. Still a heck of an effort. 3rd down, and we're going to call it 4. The captains with 3:52 to play in the quarter. Here comes the handoff. It's Rose. Rose might have been tripped up by one of his own men, but the Chiefs had a couple of players break through. It looked like Brandon Matthews was in there on the stop. Also Antoine Rouser in there too, and that'll make it 4th down and 5. What do you do?
Well, I'll tell you what, with a 20-point lead, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to punt the ball away because there's 3:29 left here in the third quarter. But Mike Berry doesn't agree with me, Roy. He's going to try to go for it.
No, I don't think he's the least bit perplexed by anything you and I have to say. As we got Timmy Morris up over center, Newingham over to the near. Back to passes Morris. He has a fake on the play action. The ball's passed underneath, and it is complete. And it's pretty close.
That's going to be
first
short
down. Although I think I think you are right. He's short by a yard. The people holding the yard marker was tossing him out to get away. It's a complete pass for 4 yards. Make that 2 yards. They needed 4. The Chiefs have it on a turnover of downs.
Well, I guess my point here is anytime you're on the side of the ball, Roy, and out to here about the 40-yard line, if you can just punt it away and pin the other opponent back deep, then you got 80, 90 yards that the other opponent's going to have to contend with.
Yeah, and even a pooch punt would work there, too, even if you line up like you're going for it. But the captain's Barry knows best. Back to pass now, Stevens. Stevens rolling out at his own 30. Has Barth running on him. Throws it down, and the ball is crawling up the jersey of Kyle Walker, who drops a certain interception. The ball is incomplete. Rose, that was not Barth. Rose made the pursuit on Stevens, and Stevens' eyes got real big trying to get rid of that one.
Put a lot of pressure on it, and that time Marquis Stevens got a hand up into the face of Rose. It could almost have been called an offensive face mask against Stevens as he got the hand up to try to stiff arm Rose away, Roy.
Yep, that ball, I'll tell you what, Kyle Walker will be teased all night here at the big boy here this evening. He really should have had that one, but he has played an excellent ball game here. He's one of our defensive stars here for the Captains tonight. 2nd down and 10, powerhouse backfield employed by the Chiefs with Aziz as the third. Here comes the toss, sweep toss back to London. On the play action pass, it is thrown across the field way away from the intended target, David Flores. Ball is incomplete. That play never had a chance.
Yeah, London that time he was rolling out to his right and threw the ball while he was rolling right. He never got to plant and then throw the football. And you can see it here. This time he never really actually stops. He's falling back as he's throwing the ball, and that could have been easily picked when you start throwing up wounded ducks like that.
And with Ryan Jarris, Spider-Man back there, no way is that pass going to be complete. 3rd down and 10. The Chiefs have the football here at their own 38-yard line. The Pontiac Central has it going from our left to our right off the far hash marks. Once again, on this 3rd and 10, they have the power backfield with 2 tight ends, no wideouts. I have no idea what that was.
I don't think, let's see, 1, 2, 3.
That's too much time, I think. They'll delay a game again. 11 penalties for Pontiac tonight.
That time I almost thought that PC had 12 men on there, Roy.
Well, they did get off the one player at the last minute. 11 penalties unofficially tonight for 80 yards against Pontiac. The Captains have had 7 penalties for 60 yards as these officials here have wore down a whole box of Kleenex here tonight. 2:46, that's what we've got left. The Chiefs have it now, 3rd down and 15 at their own 33-yard line. They've got it. Back up here, the handoff will go to the last man through Aziz. Aziz burst through. He squirted through a hole close to about 10 yards, but he needed a lot more than that. He needed about 15, 16, and he's brought down by the interior, including Walker once again, who's having a big game for the Captains. The ball will be respotted. It's a 8-yard gain rather than 10. And with 2:25 to play here, I don't know why our clock temporarily stopped after that last effort, but it's now 4th down and a long 6. Once again, our clock is not moving. We got confusion out here on our field, Bob.
Yeah, that time now they'll get the 11th man back here, and 4th down. Irv Speaks has no choice but to go for it. We've got whistles all over the field, but no flag.
Well, there is now a flag over at the far hash mark.
Okay.
We can take a look now. But, you know, you take a look in football, you have to have 11 men on the field. You can't have 10. You can't have 12. You think there'd be no penalty for having 2 guys on the field. But there sure is. You have to have 11. Anything more or anything less means illegal participation. 4th down and 11. The Chiefs will wisely punt here. Stevens will be back, mountain to punt, or receive the punt. It takes a big PC hop. He fields it on the fly at the 30. He'll avoid David Flores. He avoids a second guy and was still on his feet at about the 35. But the Chiefs will do a student body on him. There's a couple of players, including Scott Stark and also Chris Summers, will fall on him, and that's where we'll have it. A minute 48 to go here in this third quarter. And we've had no scoring and pretty much an evenly played quarter number 3. In our golf standings, just to let everybody know, there's nobody from the Waterford schools or the Comcast schools in the top 10. Troy is tops at number 7, but we would like to say our kudos, because we're going to tell you right after this play, as the captains are going to run it off tackle. It's going to be their underclassman, Joe Morris, who will get back to the line of scrimmage. But we had Mr. Siren, one of the Siren fellas, and another golfer at Kettering. Sorry it escapes me because I don't have the lit in front of me. But they placed his top medalist. Siren placed second in
Oakland County meet.
It sure did.
Yeah,
Way to go.
That qualified him to go up into the state championship too, right?
That's right, for Forest Acres Golf Course up there in East Lansing. What a fine course up there. As here on the wraparound handoff, it's going to go by Danny Rose, and Rose will have it up there at his own 42-yard line. That's a gain of 6, and with a minute 4 to go here in this quarter, the captains are going to keep it on the ground.
Well, you talked about those girls over here at Pontiac Central, Roy. The semifinals and the finals, that'll be held December 5th, 6th, and 7th over at Kellogg Arena in Battle Creek. And the way these Pontiac Central Chiefs are going, they can make a run at the playoffs.
Well, they sure can, but they will be facing all the schools, not just the Division
The powerhouses.
They sure will, and like Adams will probably be in their district, and if they're not in the Rochester district or the Mott district, they will probably be in the Wall Lake district playing Wall Lake Central, a team that made the semifinals last year and has an injured Becky Cummings who will play. So Chiefs are a good team. They're up and coming, and they could make some noise. They could be a dark horse. Who knows? And with that couple of yard gain there by the captains on that last play, they will now have it 4th down and 2. Stevens will be the deep player back here for Pontiac Central. Congratulations off to Jenna Felice, the second leading scorer in Oakland County. Twice last week, in one game Comcast did against Notre Dame Prep, and in another game, I think it was against Bishop Borges, she won the game with less than a second to go on our broadcast against Notre Dame Prep. And with less than a second to go, had a drive-in for a layup the next ball game as Waterford, our Lady Lakes, had 2 consecutive 1-point wins. Jenna Felice getting the winning effort. We'll talk more about her in our Catholic contest tomorrow, as she played in the shadows of some great players last year for the Lakers, including Katie Kaneki and Karen O'Day, and this year she's the show. And matter of fact, she bagged my groceries last weekend when she works over at Tenuda's.
Well, just to remind you once again that we will be next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m. right here on Channel 45. That's going to end our third quarter. We'll have our final 12 minutes. But just to remind you, on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock p.m., you're going to see that classic battle, Waterford, Our Lady of the Lakes, and Pontiac Notre Dame Prep. We'll be back with the final 12 minutes of this contest. You're watching Comcast TV 45 Sports.
When you need a mortgage, you need answers. That's why so many consumers are relying on Roy Akers at American Mortgage Services for their home financing needs. Smart shoppers know how much they can afford before they shop, and then get a firm commitment on it. When you need a mortgage, Roy Akers has the answers to your questions. For fast, dependable service from a trained professional, call Roy Akers toll-free today at 1-888-265-7500. Evening and weekend hours are available for your convenience.
Statistics show that the average person over a lifetime has 75,302 dreams, 3.8 surprise parties, 563 pairs of socks, and 8.6 different jobs. Is educated by 39.7 teachers, laughs 1.5 million times, finds $8.15 in the sofa, tries 12 different hairstyles, plays 6.4 sports, and owns 3.5 pets. But the average person only has one life, so why mess it up with drugs? A message of 29.3 seconds from a drug-free Navy and Marine Corps.
Comcast battle going on. The first time these two schools have ever played in prep football. Hard to believe. There's a pass down the field. It's overthrown. Jarris was the closest captain player who almost picked it off. The intended target was the tight end David Flores as the ball falls incomplete. We have 11:41 to go here in this ball game. 3rd and 10.
Talk about good size for a tight end, Roy. This kid's only a junior, 6'4", 230 pounds, big target to go to, and that's kind of like what I like to see now. And you see a lot of it in football. They're going with those big tight ends.
And now, yeah, that's what you like to see. If he had a little bit more speed, yeah, that's a guy, if he get in a little bit better shape, he would really be an asset here. He's only a junior. Back to pass to Stevens. Deep drop, almost in his end zone. Uses the official for a screen. Skips it on a hop to Jermaine London. And that ball falls incomplete. And that'll make it 4th down and 10. Boy, I'll tell you, Marquis Stevens, he played the back judge just beautifully that time, and it gave him an extra second to throw, and he threw it in the vicinity for an incompletion and not an intentional grounding. 4th down. Chiefs have really had nothing going tonight. London has 153 yards and 21 carries. And the Chiefs have almost...
Irv Speaks has tried to balance out his game, but it's just that the passing of Marquis Stevens, he's just been off the mark here tonight, Roy.
Yeah, he's not really been on it at all. We are less than a half a minute into this 4th quarter. Ball on a near skip. The captains with good penetration, but won't get to it. The ball will take a Chief roll back to the captain's 39 as Mountain comes out of traffic. And we'll skip around a couple of players, and the captains will have very good field position at their own 48-yard line.
Well, they came up on the back legs of David Rushman, and Rushman got up okay from the play, Roy, but anytime you have your own player come up and hit you in the back of the legs, that's when those injuries can happen.
Yeah, more words about girls basketball. Birmingham Marion is the top team in Class A. Pontiac Central, they fell out of the poll after they were undefeated and then lost 2 games last week, although they won 2 this week. But no Comcast teams are in the top 10 in Class A. But Waterford Our Lady of the Lakes is ranked 4th in the BCD poll. Oakland Christian is 3rd with a lot of Waterford-type people on it. Tim Morris on the naked bootleg. Tim Morris on 1st down. It's neck-tied. Personal foul on the Chiefs.
And that's going to be the big one, Roy. That'll be 15 yards and a 1st down.
Yeah, you can't tackle the neck. The necktie tackle is no longer used in football. That was the old Dick Night Train Lane play where he used to tackle by the neck. And that play is outlawed. 2 yards that time.
Well, let's take a look at it here, Roy. See Tim Morris, great job with the bootleg that time. Fakes out everybody except our cameraman, and boy, got a hold of that face mask big.
12 for 95 is what we have right now. No doubt about it, he was tackled the hard way. 10:47 to play here in this contest. Up over center, we will have Newingham is actually one of the running backs, and it won't matter. Barth on the carry, as close to first. Actually, it's not him. It's going to be Kyle Walker, and Walker is going to carry for about 8 or 9 yards as the captains are starting to open up their bench. Holy smokes.
Well, I think, Mike Berry has some luxury here. He's got a one victory this season, 1-6, and he's going to try to give some playing time to some of these underclassmen, the sophomores.
Captains move from our left to our right off the near side. They're going to have Mountain inside. The handoff is going to go to Joe Morris on a spinorama inside the 20. Spins again down to the 17 for another 1st down. A 10-yard gain for this young man. Make it 9. Joe Morris, from what I understand, is the younger brother of Timmy Morris. So
let's take a look at it. You can see his older brother hands it off here to Joe Morris. A great spin move, and then picks up the 1st down.
Boy, Joe Morris, I don't know. I bet this kid watches a lot of Dance Fever. That was one spin, then another. Holy smokes. Almost a 7:20 there on that play. 9:38 to go in our ball game. We have a Pontiac Central timeout. To take a look at things, some of our games of the week, one of the big battles going on, Berkeley at Royal Oak Kimball going on here tonight. A lot of big players playing that one. Berkeley is coached by Pat Fox. Royal Oak Kimball, Terry Powers is their coach, and a lot of tradition and a lot of rivalry. Michigan State football, you have Central Northern football at the high school level, Troy Athens, Kettering Mott. But Royal Oak Kimball and Berkeley is also a big matchup. And
Well, I'll tell you, though, the game that I would like to see, and we've got the week off next week. We're entering, this is our first of our final 3 ball games here on Comcast TV 45 Sports. But next week, Roy, the division championship will be crowned when Clarkston and Troy hook up next week, and that would be a great ball game. Fans, if you want to go out and see a ball game, go over and check that one out.
yeah, it sure would. That would really be the game to sit there and take a look at.
And I don't agree with the Oakland Press rankings, Roy. They've got Troy ahead of Clarkston all season, and that's just not happening.
I would
folks.
bet Wayne Wilson $500 that Clarkston will win that game next week. If we could bet on the game,
Well, I'm just glad you got $500. Hey, can I take out a loan there,
There's
bud?
no way Troy will win that game next week.
No,
There's no way. Wayne Wilson has been a big Troy fan for years, / Cosmo Colson, and there's absolutely no way Clarkston is not better than Troy. I've seen them both play this year, and I don't know why he does it, but I just think he's playing wrong. And the Free Press agrees with that. So does the Associated Press. Only Tom Markowski, who's never stepped north of Macomb County, agrees with that opinion. Tom Markowski never covers games on this side of town. I've seen him in 11 years twice in this side of town.
Well, and just to remind you, if any of our Comcast teams do make it into the football finals here and playoff March, I guess really we've got Waterford our lay of the lakes. I think they're going to have a shot, Roy. They've still got some big ball games left. Pontiac Northern's going to have to win out the rest of the way, and they're going to have to get a whole lot of help throughout the entire state to have any sort of chance. But we'll be there, folks. So we were there last year for you, as you saw the Pontiac Central Chiefs take it all the way to the state semifinals last year in Class A.
Well, we saw 2 of their games and 1 of the Lakers in the playoffs. And here on the handoff, it'll go to Kyle Walker, who'll bust through for about 3 or 4 more. As that time we run behind Jason Bodner and Jason Trozen for a couple. And with 9.5 to play here in this ball game, the captains are on the march. The underclassmen are all running. Actually, when I talk about betting, I'm just kidding around. But just to let you know, there's just no way.
Yeah, I think Clarkston is just a superior team, Roy. They have such a balanced attack. Dane Fife passing. They've got the running game of Phelan over there. It's just an awesome offensive display, and they're playing some great defense, too.
They really are. Troy has a very good defense. I give them that, but they can't move the football. 2nd down, make it 3rd now. That's a gain of just a couple. Morris on the carry that time. And what do we got? A timeout on the field? We must take, yeah, we got an equipment timeout. The Chiefs with 8:46 to play.
And I think that's number 65.
Yeah, that's Brandon Matthews.
Coming off the sideline.
I thought it was
jam thumb, looks like, Roy.
Yeah, I thought it was equipment at first, but he's holding his thumb like it needs to come off. And now what their clock is going to start rolling with 8:43 to go. The captains have it now, once again, 3rd and 8. They're running it up the gut. They're not wide open. They're trying not to drub it in the Chiefs at this point. I think Mike Berry feels though he has a game in hand. And here on the naked bootleg, it's Morris up over the 15. Oh, he's stuck. Malcolm Draper just puts the captain crunch on him.
And Marquise Stevens, too, there, Roy, on the tackle. He came up. It was Stevens who made the initial crunch.
Yeah, I think I looked like Morris was going to have a 1st down and maybe more, but the hole closed quickly. That makes it 4th down and 3 with 8:08 to play here in our game. The captains are going to go for it. They don't want the points. They would like to maybe take off, if they make the 1st down, another 30 seconds to a minute at least. Naked bootleg, Morris for the end zone, wrapped up, and tackles, no doubt, intentional grounding. They'll lose the downs, the yards, and the Chiefs will have the football. Grounding, it's a 10-yard penalty on Kettering. It's a turnover downs. It'll be the Chiefs football. He had nobody to throw to. He was throwing the ball to the black hole down there. There was nothing to go to.
Yeah, he was just trying to throw it down there to the Scott's Turf Plus.
That's a nice field out here. Usually the field's kind of looking pretty beaten up about this
Field's in great shape over here, Roy. What a stadium to shoot in. Came over here last year and did the playoff games. That was one of my first experiences over here, and This whole 8,000-seat stadium, probably one of the best high school stadiums here in Oakland County.
It's too bad that the fans don't come out and support the Chiefs and the Huskies. I mean, we did the homecoming last week, and to have
I was disappointed in that too, Roy. I'd just like to see some of the fans come out, and especially for a homecoming game.
And now the Chiefs will have London, who's going to act as a wide receiver here, with over to the far side will be Kenny Taylor. Stevens is looking on a slant pattern, now a deep pattern over the middle to London. The ball is thrown in front of London as Jarris was in there. He was the closest captain's player. The ball falls incomplete. It's 2nd and 10 with 7:40 to play. Stevens is yet to complete a pass. He's 0 for a dozen. He's dropped a dozen donuts out there so far tonight.
Well, don't go away. At the end of the contest, we'll be down on the field for our post-game show and talking to probably Mike Berry and some of his troops out here.
I've been told we might have had a completed pass somewhere in the first half.
Yeah, I think we did it right at the end of the first half, Roy. He did complete a pass to end the first half.
And the man in motion will be London. Back to pass. We got a flag down. Up passes over the middle. And a nice stick is Mayo, the intended target. Took a nice elbow from Aaron Card. And that ball is incomplete. We do have a hanky on our field. This game seems a little long to our audience out there. I think there's a good reason for it. This game has lasted 2.5 hours. 15 minutes of it had to do with that freak injury to, I've heard different reports, but either a spectator or
a
trainer, somebody got tackled by one of the Chiefs players as he was running out of bounds. She had no idea that it was happening and actually fell down in one of the screen ducts, and I don't know exactly what happened from there. But I do know that whoever it was, I hear in the truck that person was knocked unconscious. I do know that when the ambulance took the person away, that they were not moving.
Fumble, Roy.
Fumble, and the Captains have the football. They have a sweep toss to the outside to the Chiefs. London didn't quite have the ball secure.
Brian Rush
with a turnover.
Brian Rush with quick hands there, scooped it up off the turf, Roy.
And with 7:20 to play in our ball game, the Captains are going to try to put the final touches on this. Let's take a look at this toss, Bob.
Yeah, just poor toss here that time. Oh, actually right into the hands of London, but the pitch came up so high and so quick, Roy, that London couldn't get his hands up quick enough.
They look like an unidentified flying football that time. Morris is the quarterback. Mountain split out to the near side. And here on the play action, it's going to be Morris. He's got time to roll. He's going to go ahead and deliver it downfield. It's complete to no. He loses the ball. And the Chiefs have it on the pick. The ball is intercepted by Nicholas Franklin. I could have swore Newingham had it, and I think he had the ball stolen away.
Yeah, they were just both up for grabs, and Franklin there that time, Roy. Sometimes if you got the ball there, you just got to strip it away, and that's exactly what he did. And here you'll see Morris rolls out. Look at Newingham. Oh, just loses the ball. Doesn't really have it stripped. That goes through the hands of Newingham.
He was juggling it.
Franklin had a great interception on it.
And now the Chiefs will have it 1st and 10 at their own 24. Split out to the near side. They're going to have Mayo over to the far. I can't see for sure. I think it's Kenny Taylor. And the pass is incomplete over the middle. The intended target was David Flores. The ball was actually thrown behind and into one of the Captain's linebackers who had his back to the football. The ball falls incomplete.
Come on, move it.
Unofficially tonight, 1 for 15 is what Marcus Stevens is.
I think that was about probably a 10-yard pass there at the end of the first half, Roy.
And with 6:57 to go, the Chiefs out of the pro set, working out of the eye. Here comes the handoff. It goes straight up the middle, and the ball still on his feet is London. London that time is trying to run around everybody. He had no room to run and was tackled. I think it was by Zapata, and that'll make it 3rd and 10. I'm surprised to see the Chiefs struggling this much. I know they've got injuries, but the Captains have bottled them up and have basically destroyed this team.
Yeah, when the passing game doesn't work for you, Roy, and all you got to rely on in the run, Al Duff's trying to bring up, You'll see, well, he's putting 6 men up in here into the box this time.
Yeah.
But you could bring 7 men, 8 men up into the box and just dare to throw it on you.
Stevens, with all kinds of time to throw, completes pass number 2. This time to Jalelo Mayo at the 41. And this pass will be complete for about 14 yards.
And we've got an injury down on the field here, Roy. We take a look at it down here, and
Stevens took
leg cramps on one of the PC players.
Yeah, I thought it was Stevens. It is not Stevens. It is one of the Chiefs players.
Let's take a look at this pass play that was last completed here. So you see it from our handheld camera down here. Isolated right on Mayo. Great job here. Great work, guys. Down in the truck, pulled that one off great.
The player down is Brandon Matthews. It looks like cramping or something like that.
Let's talk about, while we have this injury timeout, our game is being directed tonight by Matt Latham, working in the replay and handling all the videotape. And the video is Larry Gavette. Handling all the audio and getting all the crunch sounds down on the field is Sue Gavette in the truck. And working up top on our cameras is Henry Barron, Gabe Niemeyer, and Steve Campbell. Great job here tonight, guys. Got a little bit different look for you tonight. Couldn't bring out the old bucket truck out here tonight, Roy. And
yeah,
what
happened with that?
Well, you know, sometimes it works for you and sometimes it doesn't. But great job here. And some Cadoos that I'd like to talk to when we have our next time out here, as I have some great news here.
Even 6 minutes to play in our ball game. The Chiefs will have split out to the far side. Bashar Aziz, deep into the shotgun is Stevens. Barking out the signals, nice snap to him. Oh, on the rush is the captains. What a stick by Mountain. That time rolls right over the top of Bashir Aziz, as Mountain that time makes a nice stick. And the captain's fans are pretty ecstatic over that.
Yeah, I think they wanted a little late call there against Mountain.
Great play.
Yeah, there was no foul there.
Well, Aziz did the same thing to one of the captain's receivers earlier. Remember that pounding we got on the microphone earlier?
Yeah.
So I think we're even in that department. 5:41 to play here in this ball game. Our clock is stopped following that incomplete pass. London, who's played mostly at running back tonight, is one of the wideouts. And over the middle, Stevens tries to go to London, and the pass is
great job.
And almost intercepted.
And Mountain that time, Roy.
Didn't have a chance at the intercept.
Knocked it down.
And it's 3rd down and 10. Stevens is now 2 for 18 passing tonight.
Here we'll see it. Great job of Stevens, actually, to pull that high snap down. And that time, Mountain got up and just knocked it loose.
And now deep, we're going to have going back as Stevens here on 3rd down. Oh, on the fly pattern, breaking loose. The ball just overthrown. The intended target is London. Once again, we got another hanky.
And I'll tell you why. And it's really not the fault of Marquis Stevens, but Rushman and the ends and some of the linebacking crew here for the Kettering Captains tonight, they have gotten into Stevens, and they've put pressure and hurried his throws all night, Roy.
Chiefs are really struggling here this evening. Another flag called against them. I'd have to retake a look at what the officials indicated. I didn't catch the first call. It is a 10-yard penalty. It was not holding, was not motion, wasn't clipping.
But it's a 15-yarder.
Well, we're trying to. Is it a personal foul? It is. A 15-yarder against the Chiefs. 13 penalties for 110
penalties
yards.
have really hurt this ball club here tonight, Roy.
About 190 yards on offense and 150 yards on penalties. Back to pass Stevens. Stevens on a lot. Oh, we're going to have a flag on the captains. Aaron Card that time blocked Mayo, knocked him out of bounds. Could not break to the football. It is pass interference on the captains.
Yeah, well, you got to let him get to the ball. That ball was well overthrown. And my question there, though, was that ball catchable, Roy? And I think that's what the officials are going to talk about down here. I don't think it was a catchable ball.
Maybe, maybe not, but that was such a big job of pass interference that I think I have to make that call. Sorry, Captains fans, and that's good for the Chiefs fans, but he was definitely way pushed beyond the call of duty.
And if you do get held up and you get knocked out along the sidelines that time, you know, does it become a catchable ball? Well, he never really had a chance at it. It was definitely a hit past the 5 yards.
And the officials and the yard marker people have got to come up with the right conclusion here. It looks like the markers will come down at the 35 as the Chiefs have a fresh set of downs. It's 1st and 10 for them. They'll have it there with the powerhouse backfield. Split out and out of the near side will be Kenny Taylor. Here comes a sweep toss right to London. London trying to work behind. Oh, it's going to be a halfback option, and the ball almost picked by Aaron Carr to the captains, as we've got, what a crazy kind of play to even call things right now. We got a flag in the backfield and almost pick, and the officials will make our call. Oh, we're going to have
personal foul called against the captains, Roy.
Yeah, it sure looks that way. And the Chiefs are moving the ball down the field without the clock going off.
Well, they've picked up 30 yards of turf here on 2 penalties here, Roy, on these last 2 plays.
Captains have 11 penalties now for 105 yards.
Let's take a look. I don't know if the foul called, I guess it was against the late.
I saw that when a Kettering player punched one of the Chief players. This player is tossed off the side. The Chiefs are going to stream down the sidelines, running out of real estate, tripped up Jalilo Mayo at the 27-yard line. A huge gain.
Yeah, Ryan Jarris, though, that time just got a hand to, or that would have been 6 for the Chiefs.
42 yards. That was a completed pass for the Chiefs. This one was a halfback option pass, as a beautiful play by PC. They're now on the 28-yard line. Stevens nearly losing his footing, goes into the end zone deep. Pass is hauled in and dropped.
Oh, that would have been a great reception, Roy.
Yeah, London.
Flat out on his back would have been London with the reception. But we've got some more laundry down on the field.
4.5 to play in our ball. If London would have pulled that one in, I'll tell you, look at that. He would have been jumping out of a cannon next. Look at this one. Look at him catch this ball. Look at him down there, had it, almost wrapped it up, and couldn't quite haul it. We have 4.5 minutes to play in this ball game. Boy, we've seen a lot of flags tonight. It's gotten to be almost every play here for the last 5 minutes of football. I think these officials ought to just let this ball game be played at this point.
Well, it's going to bring up 1st down and 5 now.
1st and 5 is what we have. And back to pass Stevens. Stevens on the run. Stevens on the draw. Sees a 1st down yard. Marker's got it and will scamper into the end zone. Touchdown, Chiefs. On another broken play. Everybody, no flags, as the Chiefs have scored from 23 yards out. Stevens, and our game score 26-12.
Well, Brandon Matthews slowly getting up from that play, Roy, but he's still in there.
2 carries for 60 yards tonight for Stevens, and the Chiefs trailing 26-12. I don't really think that they need to go. They really don't need to go for 2, but they just don't have a kicking game so that they will. I mean, 2 touchdowns would tie it up. And if they don't convert the extra point, they have to convert the next time to tie if they get that far.
Well, now I think they'll take Brandon Matthews off the field, Roy, as I think the old cramps have set in.
Wasn't that him a few minutes ago that had cramps? Or is that his pinky?
It was his hand, I think. Let's take a look at the touchdown here by Marquis Stevens. This time actually sees nobody, but sees a lot of open field. That time a missed tackle in there by J.R. Zapata, and that's something we haven't seen a lot of. Is J.R. has played some great football over here for the Captains defensively this year, Roy.
Well, that was a scramble. The Chiefs got some decent open field tackling and, some blocking, and that kind of sprang through the quarterback. Looks like almost every score we've had tonight has been off a broken play. It looked like the guy was hemmed in. There was a late starting play, a bobbled snap. It was something that was not perfect, and that just goes to show you don't need to play perfect football to win. The more you play, the better chance you have. But both these teams have scored off of plays that didn't look like they really were going to develop into anything. on the two-point conversion. Stevens is going to be hassled, throws to the end zone. The ball is picked by Mountain into the end zone. Our game score remains 26-12.
Well, let's take a timeout. You're watching the Comcast TV 45 Sports Network. I'm Bob Montgomery along with Roy Akers. We'll be back right after this.
Dolly's Pizza, we know what you like. Dolly's Pizza, voted Michigan's best pizza by the Michigan Restaurant Association. Call and order one of Dolly's 7 delicious specialty pizzas, like the Mesquite Grilled Chicken Parmesan Pizza. Get a large round or square pizza for just $9.99. Check your mail for more Dolly's Pizza specials. At Dolly's Pizza, we know what you like. At Dolly's Pizza, we know what you like.
When you need a mortgage, you need answers. That's why so many consumers are relying on Roy Akers at American Mortgage Services for their home financing needs. Smart shoppers know how much they can afford before they shop, and then get a firm commitment on it. When you need a mortgage, Roy Akers has the answers to your questions. For fast, dependable service from a trained professional, call Roy Akers toll-free today at 1-888-265-7500. Evening and weekend hours are available for your convenience.
Well, we're back on Comcast TV 45 Sports. Roy, with 4:16 left in this contest, Pontiac Central has their second scoring drive of this ball game. And a great look by some of the fans down here.
Yeah, the captains have a 9-man front. They got the good hands people up here standing at midfield. They do not trust the Chiefs, and I wouldn't either, because the Chiefs really need this if something's going to happen. The onside-er, and the captains will finally fall on it. Little drama there. 3 or 4 players look like they might have touched the football, but the captains will fall on it at about their own 45-yard line, and with 4:10 to play, they will keep the football on the ground, and for them, they'd like to wrap this football game up. I don't think you'll see any passing by Mike Berry and company. I think they'll be running between the tackles, and the Chiefs, I don't know how many timeouts they have left. I know they've got at least 1. They might have 2. With all them injury timeouts, I kind of got lost here. As the captains have the football, 1st and 10 at their 46. Movement again.
Well, actually, a timeout there by the Chiefs is they didn't have enough men out on the field, Roy, so Pontiac Central will have to burn a timeout.
Holy smokes, they got like 13 guys on the field. Even now they got 2 of them walking off. Holy, yeah, no wonder.
Well, Roy, we've got an announcement here. You're an official this summer, and this is how you, too, could become an official.
Yep, I don't know if anybody out there has retired their spikes, your jump shot, your glove from active play, but still wish you could be involved in sports. Your talents and skills are still in demand. There is a need in our schools for coaches and registered game officials at all levels. It's a great way to stay involved. So I don't know what's stopping you. To get back in the game, contact your local school athletic administrator or the Michigan High School Athletic Association located in East Lansing. This has been a public service message from the MHSAA and Comcast Cable. Yeah, I was looking to do some more officiating. There's some sports around here that they're having trouble. And I tell you, if there's any retirees out there, people that would like to make some tax-free money, about $35, $40 here for about 2 hours work, this is not a bad way to do it. Not a bad way till the IRS gets a hold of it.
I was going to say, now you're going to have the IRS on you. You're just in rare form here tonight, bud.
Yeah, I sure am. 7:50 has been played here in the 4th quarter, and on the handoff will be Rose. Rose along the sideline. Rose with first down yardage and more down at the central 40-yard line. A gain of about 20. I don't think we have a flag on the field, but a Chief player is down. Stephen Wolf is down here, and he is, I don't know what in the world's happening.
Yeah, helmet came flying off and everything, Roy.
A big gain. We also have a flag on the field, of course.
Let's take a look at it here. Pitch back here to Rose. Rose cuts it up along the sidelines, finds a lot of room out there and a lot of territory, but it's all for naught as it's coming back.
Yes, it is. The officials have marked it off against the captains. It's holding. And they say that's what sprung Dan Rose. It's a spot foul. 6 yards on the flag against the captains. Captains usually don't have a lot of fouls called on them tonight. I think this officiating crew is showing a high propensity to stick to the letter of the law here this evening.
On Irv speaks, he's got a couple players already banged up here tonight, Roy, and
8 of
he's
them.
just decimated so far out here as his sidelines are getting real scarce here, Roy.
2 ball games to go for the Chiefs, including that big Pontiac Northern matchup next week.
He's actually got 3 players injured so far tonight here in this ball game. They're banged up, Roy. So the old injury bugaboo. Let's take a timeout here. They're going to take an official timeout down here on the field, and you're watching Comcast TV 45 Sports.
Life. You're born, you're all potential like a blank slate. You get to fill it any way you want. Nah, you're a canvas. Yeah, you're like a brand new canvas you can go wild on. Maybe you're more like a lump of clay that can be molded into anything. Well, the idea is simple. Fill up your life. Just keep drugs out of it, huh? After all, your life is the only whatever you got. It's a life or drugs situation.
Well, Roy, not to knock the officiating, but I've seen one of the most ridiculous calls I've ever seen at a game as the officials threw the flag against the Pontiac Central Chiefs as the ambulance was out on the field. The player came off okay. Looked like probably a stinger or something that, temporarily kind of paralyzes you out there. And the ambulance crew gets it into it with the officials, and they throw the flag on Pontiac Central. Unbelievable.
Well, I'll tell you what, maybe we should start calling coverage for the WWF. That was about that type of a call. I've never seen anything like that. Here comes the handoff straight up the gut here for Waterford Kettering. They will pick up a couple there on first down, and they will continue to move the clock with 3 minutes to play here in this ball game. But, yeah, I agree with you. I don't know why they would call the flag on the home team for a wagon coming out there on the field. I mean, if a player was injured with a neck injury, why? I don't know. That's something maybe you get on the post game there tonight. 2nd down and 10. There's no gain that time for the Captains. Our clock continues to roll with 2:38 to go here in this ball game. And the Captains here bringing out their bench, and a handoff will go straight up the gut to Joe Morris, who will pick up about 2 yards as the Chiefs will make the stop on him. That time it looked like Scott Stark was in there on the tackle and actually give Morris about 3.
Come on, Antoine!
36 yards and 7 carries for Joe Morris here this evening. 2:08 to play in our ball game. 3rd down and 8. And we have a timeout, Chiefs. And if they've called a timeout here, this is, I think, it's got to be their last timeout tonight.
Yeah, I think maybe more than anything, if I'm Irv Speaks, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get in the ear of one of those officials after this timeout and just kind of express my concern over that last call there. Unbelievable. Well, we'll have our post-game show. I'm Bob Montgomery. I'll be down on the field, and we'll try to get some comments from Mike Berry and perhaps talk to Ryan Jarris defensively, one of the Captain's premier defensive players this season here on Comcast TV 45. And offensively, Dan Rose, he's had a couple touchdown runs out here tonight. Roy had a great football game on the ground, and remember, he had that 43-yard touchdown there back in the first half that made the score 18-6, and that so far is the winning touchdown.
3rd down and 8. The Captains with the football on the Pontiac Central 38. They need to hit the 31. It's a long 7 for the first down. Back to pass Morris up over the middle. The ball is hauled in for a first down by Nick Reeser at the 27-yard line. Most importantly for the Captains, they move the clock as it's temporarily stopped while we move the chains with 1:50 to play.
Let's take a look at it here. This time you'll see Morris drops back, quick little pass, and a great catch by Nick Reeser. We talked about it early in the pregame show, the great hands of Nick Reeser.
And with 1:35 to play, the Captains can basically sit on it. The handoff will go to Morris, who will get up to about the 25 for a gain of about a yard or so. That'll make it 2nd down, and with 1:22 to play here in our ball game, we're going to keep on moving as we got our final coming up. 26-12, the Captains over the Chiefs. Roy Akers, Bob Montgomery with you here at Wisner Stadium. Bob's going to have our post-game show for you here tonight. Just to let our audience know, we will have our 2nd game of our doubleheader happening tomorrow at Waterford Kettering High School, as Our Lady of the Lakes will host Notre Dame Prep there, as we're going to have a key Catholic League matchup. And Morris on the deep drop, with 52 seconds to play, will take a knee, and that'll make it 3rd down and about 4. And that's what that key pass was to Reeser a few minutes ago. That completion gave the Captains 3 new downs with no timeouts left for Pontiac Central. And with 34 seconds to go in the ball game, there's nothing the Chiefs can do to prevent the Captains from running it out. A 14-point lead is what we have. Final couple plays coming up. Another knee, I imagine, by Morris, and he will. That'll make it 4th down. And with that, the Chiefs cannot stop the clock. We will not have a delay of game. That's our final play of the ball game. The Captains are coming off the sidelines. The Chiefs will in just a minute. There goes our final seconds. Once again, our final score, 26-12. The Captains have defeated the Chiefs here on the road in this Division II ball game. And with that, we're going to take it down to Bob Montgomery on the field. Bob?
Kids are bombarded with information these days, and it's up to us to give them the skills to process it all. Now let's talk about this. Cable in the classroom is a powerful tool. More than 30 cable networks design programs specifically for the classroom.
Just set the timer to record.
And it's free. No commercials, no viewing requirements. You'll research a region and then reference. And there's a monthly magazine with everything I need to know to make it work. Distinguished representatives, what say you? Cable is giving us a fantastic educational tool. It's up to us to use it.
Joining me now on our post-game show here on Comcast TV 45, the offensive and defensive stars of tonight's ball game. With me is Dan Rose, and Dan, you had the winning touchdown. It was a 43-yarder back there in the first half. Do you remember the play, and can you describe it?
I remember the play. I just followed my pulling guard there and saw an opening and broke it loose.
Well, a great ball game, both on defense, too. You had a tremendous ball game out here tonight. So far, it's been kind of a down season for you offensively here for the Captains this year, but you guys came to play tonight.
Yep.
Also, probably one of our defensive MVPs for the Waterford Kettering Captains so far this year, Ryan Jarris. Ryan, you've played great out there defensively.
Thanks.
What's contributed to this year's success out here?
This year, I think we've worked a lot harder on the defensive back drills, and we're getting a nice good rush from our ends and our defensive linemen. It's forcing them to pass a lot earlier this year.
I know you've had a lot of attempts at some picks out here. Did you have one tonight? I can't remember. It's been, almost 3 hours ago since we started this ball game, a late ball game out here. But you broke up some plays, and one of the things too that I thought you guys defensively out here tonight, Pontiac Central tried to pass on you, and you brought rush and rushman, some of your defensive ends. Was that designed by Coach Duff and to put a lot of pressure here on Marquis Stevens tonight?
Yeah, I believe it was. We realized they had very big splits, and we just set them right up the gaps, and it forced the quarterback through a lot earlier. Same.
Was it after halftime, you led by 20 here at the half, and was it then to just totally shut down the run game of the Chiefs?
Yeah, I believe we had their run game shut down most of the game too, and they realized they had to pass the ball a little bit more, and we shut that down as also.
Okay. Well, Dan, you had a great ball game out here tonight on this field. This is a great time, and we'll coach Mike Berry. We'll have him join us out here.
Yeah,
Coach, great game out here tonight, and this is the first time in school history that the Pontiac Central Chiefs and the Waterford Kettering's captains have hooked up, I believe, in school history.
And I don't think that's right, but that's.
Oh, okay. Well, that was kind of what Roy announced in the pregame that we talked about, because so many years that we saw the Chiefs out here in the Saginaw Valley Conference and captains playing in the goal. Game plan coming in here tonight. defensively, I think you tried to stop the pass.
Right. Yeah, I thought we played well. The game plan was to try and wear them down because of their numbers and their injuries. And our kids played really hard, and our offense did a nice job and put some points on, and our defense held. And we played the game that we wanted to do. We wanted to run them all over the field and tire them out, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
We were real happy with that.
I think that is true because Coach Speaks here, he had a 30-man roster. He had 20 players dressed for tonight's ball game and another 3 players, and it's just the old injury bugaboo that's bit the Chiefs here.
Well, we went through that early in the season too. We had our share of injuries, and we're starting to get healthy, and we're looking forward to the last 2 ball games. We got homecoming coming up, and that's going to be an exciting one. I want to win that one for the homecoming crowd.
And of course, the big one in 2 weeks, and that's going to be a Comcast TV 45 game, and we'll be there.
Which game is that you're talking about?
Which game's that? I think you got some paybacks coming to the Waterford Corsairs, but we won't let you say that on camera, so that it'll give the Corsairs any ammunition there. Coach Barrett, great game here tonight, great victory, and thanks, guys.
Yep,
you did a great job here. Well, that'll wrap up our show. You're watching Comcast TV 45 Sports. For our director, Matt Latham, Larry Gavette out in the truck, Sue Gavette out in the truck, Gabe Niemeyer, Steve Campbell, Henry Barron, thanks a lot. And tune in tomorrow night, that's Tuesday night, on Channel 45. You're going to see that great matchup between Pontiac Notre Dame Prep and Waterford Our Lady of the Lakes. For myself and Roy Akers, good night, everybody.